Hey, Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching America's #1 cure for insomnia, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, and with me are.
Uh, I'm Wendy. Hi.
And also we have.
Back again after a long hiatus is Ninja Panda 1980, and with me is
Johnny Rodriguez.
Oh, I didn't do the grandiose introduction this time.
Yeah, because usually I'm after everyone and I'm before Johnny. That's what threw me off.
Oh, well, yeah.
Cool.
All right. So anyways, guys, some different. So anyways, we're going to be talking about AEW Dynasty and, what happened to the matches, who won and everything, comparative predictions, because we all put our predictions here and there. Who was right, who was
But I
wrong.
will have to say this: the only one who is not even in this match, unfortunately, is Panda because he didn't get all his predictions in time. I'm sorry that you could not, give all your predictions for this B show of a pay-per-view.
Okay. Now, luckily, we did like the package deal because they had a package deal that you could get. The last one was Revolution, right? So you could get Revolution and Dynasty. So you got them both at the same time. So that was I didn't have to like whip out the $50 now whenever Dynasty came out. It wasn't like, oh my God, our pay-per-view, take out the wallet. In this case, it was already prepaid and all
Two
that
for the
stuff.
price of two.
Yep, there we go. Well, you still
Two for the
about
price
20
of-
or so bucks.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But we get the idea. And yes, it's on ppb.com. And also, what's that new thing they got now?
The Triller, and it's also on Amazon Prime. It doesn't make sense to me. It's weird to me,
Yeah, so they're expanding. So Bleacher Report's a thing of the past. But anyways, before we get into that, we're going to go into certain wrestling news here and there of different things, not always AEW. First one we got is Kevin Owens from WWE. Got some kind of neck injury in a recent match. And not only is he missing this year's WrestleMania, which was supposed to be going up against Randy Orton, there's news that he may not wrestle at all for the rest of 2025. And it might even be potentially that he might even miss next year's WrestleMania, which how severe that neck injury is and everything. I'm not sure, you probably watch it more than I do, Panda. Like, which match was that where he fucked up his neck?
Before you get into that, I just got one thing to say. At least WWE knows that if their wrestlers are not in tip-top shape, they can't perform, so they give them that time off.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that part in a minute. But I'm not sure exactly which match that was that Kevin Owens got the neck injury. But from what I'm understanding, it is pretty rough. He is going to be out for the rest of this year and possibly next year. They're saying the neck injury is almost the equivalent of what happened with Edge originally when he went out 10 years ago.
Oh.
So there may actually have to be some spinal fusion involved. So, best of luck to him. I hope he gets back soon. But yeah, it's going to be kind of a rough year without him, especially plot-wise, because him and Orton were supposed to be having like some bangers of a few matches. But I don't know who they're going to put as Orton's opponent. But it's not going to be Kevin Owens.
And the thing about Kevin Owens, like they always say, he was always a safe worker too. But dang, it's bad that he's going to miss out on WrestleMania. What are you drinking? With you in these fancy waters lately?
Icelandic glacial natural spring water from Iceland.
Yeah, probably tap in the back of the store.
Because we're going to drink water, might as well make it count.
Anyway, probably from a tap in the back of the store.
Uh-huh.
So here's hoping that Kevin Owens does get a good recovery and all that stuff. But still, geez.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't make him have to like fully retire though, because he's still kind of young. You still got a lot ahead of him, I would think.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, WWE they seem to work smarter, not.
Oh, give or take, because remember they got that whole almost wrestling 24/7 schedule.
Well, okay, but there is that. But I just meant as far as safety goes, because you hear about injuries there, but not to the extent of AEW.
Yeah. So then the other news we have is something else.
Becky Lynch is thinking about retiring.
Yeah, she was on some, but the thing is, like, they haven't announced it officially, but on some podcasts it sounds like she's talking like wrestling is a thing of the past for her, and it sounds more like she wants to dedicate herself more to her kid I don't know if it's kid or kids by
At
now.
this
'Cause
point.
it's been a while. So I don't know what's going on with her. I know she had a kid, but she wants to, I guess, devote her time more to motherhood than being in the ring. That's
Yeah,
what it kind of
especially
sounds like.
it's probably tough when both your parents are active wrestlers, I would think.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys got any thoughts on that. Just in
Yeah,
general.
I mean, like Wendy said, it would probably be tough if both of your parents are both active wrestlers on the road constantly with like what, maybe a grand total of 2 weeks off
Yeah.
per year.
Mm.
So yeah, that would be tough trying to raise a kid on the road and both your mother and your father are both wrestlers. So I agree where she's coming from. Now, given my reasons, I do not like Becky Lynch, but I do respect her decision if she decides to retire to take care of her child. So good luck to her on that one.
Yeah.
So, going with that, we were saying, it's tough having both parents always traveling and not spending time with your child. I'm just thinking about what I have to deal with, and these parents are around. So imagine the kids whose parents are actively always working and how that child might, turn out or act.
Yeah, but not just that. It's also they're both like the top stars that got
And they got to carry
every episode.
Yeah.
It wasn't like if Rollins was like a B character that can miss a couple episodes because whatever. Like both him and Becky are some of the top ones. They got to be in almost every episode doing something.
Yeah, so that child might act out a lot. I mean, the child may act out, just to get the parents' attention.
Yeah. So in other news, it looks like what's his name? Lex Luger is going to get inducted in this year's WWE Hall of Fame.
And originally they were talking about like a few weeks ago, they were saying he wanted Sting to induct him, but Tony wasn't having that.
Yeah.
So instead, DDP is going to do it, I believe, right?
Yeah, Diamond Dallas Page and everything. And well, I don't know. It's like I don't know, a mixed bag. It's like on one side, Lex Luger really wanted Sting in there, so his wishes. But on the other side, I'm like, the way WWE treated Sting, like Sting don't own nothing. Like not Luger, but WWE himself. Because you know how it is. They're gonna capitalize off it and make money and probably sell some Sting shirts or whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm
but I'm just saying with Triple H is in charge now, so it might be a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, he got like Ultimate Warrior back and Bruno Sammartino of all people back, to induct them. I mean, it's just for him to induct someone else. So
Yeah.
like that. So I mean, thoughts on that one, guys?
Yeah, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think it's kind of shit that Khan won't let Sting go to induct him in this, especially since what exactly can Khan do? He's retired. He's out of his contract. There's nothing he could do to literally touch him. If Sting wanted to go to that Hall of Fame, he could. I mean, Khan is just
unless he has like maybe he has some kind of clause in the contract that said after you're done with us, you can't do anything involving WWE for X amount of time.
Well, I mean, they do have that non-compete clause for X amount of months, even after retirement.
I know, but he's not competing. But maybe it still counts as some form of competing. But he's been gone for such a while. I mean, it seems like it'll be like no.
Yeah, it seems like that contract would be up by now. I mean, I'm just gonna be real with you, and you can censor me on this. Khan's just being a baby back bitch. That's pretty much the bottom line of it. I mean, him and Luger have been friends for years. No, I take that back. Not even years, decades. Between wrestling in U.S., Japan, and two different wrestling factions, they've been around each other for years. Let the man go. Let him induct him. Hell, induct Sting if he's not. Well, actually, Sting's already there. Let him induct him into the Hall of Fame. Like, it's only fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Sting wasn't it?
Yeah, for a short time. But they kind of count WCW with WWF, so I guess, But any thoughts, Johnny?
I still think AEW did Sting dirty in that retirement match when he was gonna, in the middle of his big speech, his farewell speech, they just kind of cut in the middle of it, and it's like, Wow, that's how you guys respect Sting? Like, it's not a good look for AEW in that department.
Review. There's no overrun. Who cares? You're not interrupting a show. It's a pay-per-view, that's streamed or whatever.
Everything is great. Everything is great. Ding. Maybe the Bleacher Report is like, oh no, we gotta cut them off, man.
Yep. Oh man. So the last bit of news we had that was just random stuff I found a moment ago. It's just a little oddity and a little flub, and it looks like it happened to everyone or not many people. Is of course you guys seen us in the past. We've had the All Elite Crate, which is a quarterly subscription box where the same people that made Pro Wrestling Tees and of course the regular Pro Wrestling Crate, and it's all AEW themed stuff. So it happens that I guess people got this particular quarter's box, and you know how you got the little card, those list all the things, you get a shirt of this, a shirt of that, a pin, a video, whatever, and it said you get an autograph from what was it? From Kyle Fletcher. Because let's get an autograph of Kyle Fletcher.
Autograph picture of Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, but instead it's an autograph picture of Ricky Starks and everything. And I was looking at the thing, like some person posted a picture like it was weird, but then like I read it, but then you see like the comments and they're like, damn, I thought I was the only one. And then people were like, whoa, I was gonna post a picture too. So I guess I don't know if everyone, but at least for a lot of people, they got a Ricky Starks autograph instead of a Cloud Fletcher autograph.
Oh well.
And that's just odd. You know what I mean? Like one person slipped through the cracks, okay, but like it sounds like a lot of people, if not everyone, got accidental Ricky Starks autograph instead of Kyle Fletcher.
I mean, if you think about it, that would be a cheaper ticket, seeing as Ricky Starks is no longer in AEW.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know. And that's the weird thing. It's like getting a box that promises I don't know, a Pac-Man shirt, but you get an Alf shirt instead. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow, Alf.
Yep.
I said I got my elf doll from like 1987 somewhere in my parents' storage unit.
Oh!
Oh God. Oh, one thing I gotta say, when we were looking at her storage unit, she had like volume 2 of the Dragon Ball Z manga, because back then they went back and put like 3 mangas in one, so like thicker volumes. She had volume 2 of the manga, and the manga was just out there. It wasn't in like like a plastic bin or some other thing. It was just out there at the mercy of the elements for who knows how long before we decided to check it out. And the book still looks like he just bought it yesterday at Barnes and Nobles or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
I was awesome. Like, holy, that's one very well sealed what do you call it? Storage center. Like, my God.
So also in AEW injury news, so I just did like another check, and they said that fortunately he was not concussed.
Okay.
But Hook did take a chair attack during AEW Dynamite and ended up like throwing up and looking half concussed. And he was moving very slowly to the point that Samoa Joe actually had to bail him out, and they had to call the match. Now, I don't know if this was I'm starting to wonder now if maybe it was a bit of a setup or if it was just like a slightly botched move. But what really irritates me about this is Wendy was talking about the safety of AEW wrestlers. Now, to see somebody end up throwing up in the middle of the match, that should have been called right there. But they let the match go on and finish in its entirety. That I don't stand for. That's just ridiculous. But fortunately, we did get good news. Hook did not receive a concussion. He just, like I said, it just nailed him in the stomach. He got sick. That was pretty much the beginning and end of it. But still, something that bad, they should have called the match.
I'm just trying to remember the match because I think I was only halfway paying attention because I just didn't care. But
it was an ops tag team match. It was like him and Samoa versus 2 of the Death Riders.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't care. And I wasn't really fully paying attention.
And it was really hard to see because like he was already laying on the ground and his arm was like kind of covering himself up. But then like when you saw him pop his head up for a split second, you could tell he was throwing up.
Oh wow!
And you can actually
I
see
must have missed that. That was
definitely
a bit more weight during that, but I must have missed that. My God! But I gotta say something. The Death Riders theme, Doesn't the Death Riders theme sound like sleazy bar music? Like I
Yeah,
can
I've been saying
imagine
that for a while.
that's what was playing in the background whenever Moxley was picking up like Marina Shafir, like, hey, can I buy a big baby or something, like.
Yeah, that does sound like some music you'd hear coming out of the Salty Spittoon or something like that.
Oh god. All right, guys. Any thoughts on the news and stuff, Johnny, before we move on to the actual event?
Yay.
Just AEW. A lot of times I feel like they don't care about their wrestlers getting injured that
But
bad.
everything is great.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna replace the theme song instead of, because the Vince thing is all old. The joke's already old by now. So I'm gonna replace the whole "it's such good shit" at the end. I'm gonna replace it with "everything is great."
Ding.
oh, and that part of Tony Khan always thinks like all his pay-per-views are flawless and they always do great and they always have these huge attendance, big crowds at his half-empty arenas.
A lot changed, right, Johnny? When you think back, because you were actually there live twice. When you think about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. I just felt like
It just seemed better.
Tony Khan lost his way.
Yeah. And that was the thing, because I was there. Johnny wasn't there for that one, but I was there with Chuck Rodriguez for the I guess DJF too, maybe. I think it was us three, me, Chuck and DJF. We were there to watch the third episode of Dynamite live. And it just felt so promising, and everything was so new back then. All these guys were unknown still for us, so we didn't know like who was gonna make it big and who wasn't, and blah 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 blah.
I guess maybe you could have forgotten, like, oh, that guy was in NXT or that guy's a.
Well, we know that, but
That's some
but
of them,
people
right?
like for example, Darby Allin. I never seen him before this. We had Darby Allin there. Jimmy Havoc was still there.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, I guess the other people. I had pictures with Sonny Kiss and
Oh.
Viva the Barbarian. No, oh God, Viva the Librarian. I got to say.
Oh, she's gone now, right?
Yeah, she's also gone. And the people I got pictures of, like Darby Allin, happened to be the one dude that became more of a star and lasted longer compared to everyone else. Because Sonny Kiss is also gone from the company
I
nowadays.
don't see the fascination with him at all.
See,
Okay.
here's my problem with AEW right now. They are failing at content and booking because of the fact of their namesake. Like literally when AEW first started, when it was started by Cody and Kenny and the Dumb Fucks, when it first got started, the whole intuition, the whole big gimmick of it was this was wrestling created by wrestlers, and for fans. The wrestlers were able to book their matches. They were setting up their plot lines. They were setting up their entire business. And they didn't have like any, crap writers or anything like that. They weren't trying to go the same route as WWE. But now that WWE has gotten their shit together, they've been trying too hard to copycat them. And in some ways trying to copycat other things, which we'll talk about later, like ECW. And it's not working for them. It's not working anymore. And with the unsafe environment that they're having as far as wrestlers getting injured, plot lines having to constantly change and shift, they don't know how to handle it. Like, if something happens in WWE and a writer goes down, and a writer's, script just goes out of the window, they actually, have another writer that they can sit around and go, okay, what can we do to change this? What can we do to fix this? What can we do to make this work? They don't have that. They pretty much do their writing almost, it seems like on the fly. And then if something doesn't work, then it's just sheets to the wind, boys. We'll just figure something out. And that's what's really killing them, not to mention their content. Like they actually get wrestlers from other wrestling federations that have been fired or clipped off for whatever reason. But sometimes you gotta think, yeah, sure, some of these guys were let go for stupid reasons, but you also have wrestlers that may have been clipped off for other reasons, like performance issues, things like that. I mean, for instance, you got Big Cass. Okay, fine and good. When he was in WWE, he got clipped because wasn't a good wrestler. Now here he is in AEW. Still not a good wrestler, but hey, at least he's still getting paid and getting a contract. So yeah, that's the type of stuff they need to work on. Tony Khan needs to quit collecting former WWE guys like they're freaking Pokemon. He needs to treat his wrestlers a little bit better and let them write their own stories. And I guarantee you, it'll be back as good as it was all the way back to when they had that first pay-per-view on YouTube. Trust me.
I would say, like, I was just thinking about, like, we were just talking about a while ago, like, Eddie Kingston, like, what's happening with him?
He's still badly injured.
I know, but I would assume so, because it sounds like he really messed himself up.
Yeah, his
One
leg's
move-
still
a move
messed
he
up.
shouldn't have been doing.
He is on the AEW milk carton roster right now. Like nobody's seen or heard from him. His last I heard, he's still trying to train to get his leg together. For all I know, he might be trying to get his whole self together. You'd probably come back in with like looking like Brian Cage or something, which if that works, hey, more power to him. But from my own understanding, he's still trying to work out kinks on that leg injury.
Like I said, just not a good environment to be working. And also, like you pointed out about storylines and stuff, it's like late WCW stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. Back in the day, because Vince would almost like purposely book the opposite of what you wanted in matches. With AEW, we were having a hard time predicting who was going to win in the earlier podcast episodes because AEW was so unpredictable, and we were and a lot of the stuff we were saying like, okay, this guy versus this guy, and if it was WWE, it most likely would be this guy winning because that's who everyone does not want to win. But now we're because AEW is different. We just don't know. We can't tell. It could go either way. And now we're kind of going into the predictable match stuff.
Gosh, about 99% of this car was predictable.
Yeah. So anyways, let's get started, guys, before we drag it out too much.
Yeah.
And we got some notes and everything here, and we'll go through them. Although we're gonna probably need William's help with the last couple of matches. We were kind of like zonked out.
I was just dead to the world. I was like, I'm sick of this. I'm going to sleep. For this, we starting off with Dynamite here. We have our the announced team, the pre-announced team folks.
What do you call it? The bot. Isn't it called the bot? The 0 hour, right? Now they call it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, the 0 hour announced team.
Yeah, so that started with had Renee, of course, Jeff Jarrett, because apparently that's all he does now. RJ City and
Madison
Rain showed up. Yeah, we were like, oh, who is she again? Haven't seen her in so long.
Still works here.
Haven't seen her in so long. It's like, wait, when is she on the milk carton?
Yeah, but nowadays it's like Jeff Jarrett's like that's his job now to constantly announce the 0 hour stuff.
Yeah, remember he actually had a storyline, but apparently whatever happened.
Yeah, he got that contract re-signed, whatever, because he's gonna go for the title. But I guess MJF or something took him off the.
That was just so pointless.
Okay, so on to the
he had
actual
to finish his story.
Yep.
And this will be his final run. I think his final run ended with MJF there. But anyway, the first match of 0 hour was Nick Wayne, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush versus AR Fox with Top Flight. And the winner of this match was Nick Wayne, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush. And just to get the points out the way, I said, this is one of the matches that Panda didn't give one for, but everyone else went for, let's see, only Jack and Mark went for Nick Wayne's team, so they're the only ones who would get points for this.
Yeah. So here are some of the notes we got off of that match there. So we got AR Fox flying out there and knocking everyone down, and everyone's just basically that's how the match started. Like, they were all getting into the ring, and AR Fox just does the suicide dive, knocks everyone down, and everyone just starts beating the crap out of everyone, all out of order and everything. Kip Sabian was of course lurking around as Nick Wayne is still part of the patriarchy or whatever.
Oh, I forgot.
So he was getting into Dante's face, Dante Martin, to distract him and whatever. Leo Rush actually got a chain he was going to use, but then Dante grabbed it, so he wouldn't use it, of course. And then you both start kind of doing a tug of war for the chain and stuff. And then what's his name? Dante drags Leo out of the ring with the chain before the ref can see all of that. AR Fox gets Leo and Nick in a double cutter. so that's pretty cool. Kip distracts the referee, Layla Gray, because she also still works here, because now she's just
She's like their valet or something.
she's just downgraded to be their valet. She barely gets any matches. Even back then when she was a valet for Jade, she would still get matches. Now she's just whatever. But anyways, Layla Gray gets Kip away, and it looks like she punched him or something. It was not very clear because the way the camera cuts and stuff. And Nick's mom, oh yeah, I forgot because she's also part of patriarchy. She shoves AR. Oh yeah, so AR Fox was climbing on the ropes to do a thing, and Nick's mom shoves him off, so he falls and everything. And since he fell, Nick took the chance to pin him and win the match. And the weirdest thing was that when the camera pans away to the other people, I remember this, it was kind of weird because again, the camera, whatever, Layla Gray was on the floor and she was still kind of rubbing her face or whatever as if she got hit. So I'm kind of thinking, wait a minute. Okay, so when she punched Kip Sapien, did Kip punch her back or something? Like, who punched her in the face? But that's the thing, they did show a shot, they played the music, Nick Wayne people won, the other guys look upset, and he just cuts Layla Gray all on the floor, all like she got, I'm like, did Kip punch her in the face? Because I'm sure the mama didn't.
Oh, something else I forgot to mention. They had the Dynamite announce team for this one. So, Tony, Schiavone, and Excalibur, but no Taz. But they had Daddy Magic there.
Yep. I love Danny Magic on commentary, though. He just adds that extra on-track energy he always seems to have.
Tony and, I don't know. Tony and Caliber, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So, thoughts on the match, guys?
Okay, so my thing is, like, that was a decent 0-hour match. Like, it it escalated quickly, like, right from the beginning. Like, AR Fox just is like, oh, everybody's here? Okay, dive. I thought that was pretty insane. That's a hell of a way to start a match. But, yeah, otherwise it was kind of a meh match back and forth, and then at the very end, I knew some shenanigans were gonna occur as soon as Mother Wayne showed up. So as soon as she pushed him off, I was like, "Yep, this is done." Oh, another standard AEW opening match.
Yep.
What was the great thing part? Like, do you think she got socked in the face by somebody? It just looked weird. It was a weird cut.
Yeah, now that part was weird because, like, she was holding her face, and I'm just like, I don't remember her getting hit at any point in this match. Did she bump into something? Did, like, she, like, mysteriously run into Kip Sabian's fist? Who knows? Good job, camera team.
Oh, no, you. Hey, Johnny.
Yeah, personally, for this match, I felt like there was like way too much stuff going on. Like the camera work was kind of sloppy here and there. Just people, everybody gathering up and trying to beat people up. Like everybody, like whatever. Like I didn't really. I don't know. Sometimes it was kind of hard to tell what was going on in the match. But yeah, just kind of like what you said with Mother Wayne being there. There's going to be some shenanigans. And I was actually kind of surprised that Nick Wayne won the match.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, same here. It was like, I mean, they had their time to push him and they didn't. So why start now?
No, but I mean, now that he's getting more into Christian's face, I guess it is their chance to do that.
I guess. Anyway, the next match for the 0 hour was Maskcaster versus whoever. And we weren't going to do points for this one anyway, but my choice was, of course, who was ever going to come into the ring and just beat him because that's the whole pattern.
Yeah.
So I went for TBA.
Yeah, the only thing I do want to say is that with this Platinum Maskcaster challenge or whatever, apparently people are saying that it's kind of getting over with the fans. Because people just, I don't know about like liking his character in general, but they do enjoy him talking a big game and then getting completely embarrassed, getting his ass whooped. So, you know what I mean? Like if you come to heel, you love to see lose, But anyways, for this match, it was not just any random opponent that came up.
It was Anthony Bowens.
It's a brand new theme song. Daddy has still with him though. I guess they're gonna drop the scissor gimmick and everything. And
But the people in the audience, they were still wanting the scissor. Because I was like, yeah, I can't scissor without both there, you know?
Yeah, and so pretty much it was a short match because there was a lot of it was kind of just staring and whatever. I guess they kind of had to take it back and forth. But Bones just hit him with the spinning elbow of doom, and Caster went down, pin 1, 2, 3, and there we go. And Anthony Bones is back in town. I think he had a match tonight on Collision. I'm not sure. I think he had a match against maybe that Nick White person, the person who went versus Ospreay.
Oh, Kevin Knight.
Kevin Knight, yeah. So he's having some matches there, so that's kind of cool. Got to build himself back up, but now he's got that new energy and stuff like that. So, any thoughts on that match, guys? It was
I
pretty
laughed.
quick.
I laughed when I saw it was Anthony Bowens. I was like, you gonna pin Max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that it was actually Bowen that was his opponent. If anything, I thought it was Takeshita that was going to come out again and just stomp him one more time just for, shits and giggles. But it actually threw me off when Bowen actually came in and then turned around and just beat the snot out of him, almost practically a squash match, and then just leaves. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, out of the two, if it was going to be a solo run, I would definitely advise Bowen for the push. So I think this is what's going to start happening now. And then knowing the writers, they're going to screw it up, and then the Scissor Gang's going to get back together. But for this time,
and piss off Jack even more.
But for the time being, I say give Bowen the spotlight. Have it so that every time that what's his nuts throws an open invitation, he just comes out and stomps him. Just to kind of get that out and going. But overall, that's all I gotta say. It was a squash match.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now after this, we get to the regular pay-per-view, which was nothing but just. Oh yeah, Johnny, what did you think?
Yeah. So kind of like everybody, I was pretty surprised. Like, damn, I think Anthony Bowens. Like, okay, so it was interesting. There was a little bit of commotion going on there because they used to be buddies. They used to be with their whole sister gang tag team. Sister Me Daddy, whatever. So now, like, damn, Anthony Bowens. The Searing Bench mode beat the shit out of Max Caster like a piece of shit, and hey, you won the match. But it was so interesting though, and Anthony Bowens. I mean, if they're going for a good push, like I'm all for it. Like I would like to see him more, wrestle more matches.
All right. So my opinion was, yeah, that was my opinion. Anyway, after that, we get to the regular actual pay-per-view. And the first match on the card, which is for the Owen Hart Cup, was Ospreay versus Kevin Knight.
Yeah, I just wanted to say just real quick that for the pay-per-view, most, if not all the matches, okay, no, not all, but most of the matches were the Owen Cup Tournament. So if you weren't a fan of that, I guess too bad. It was one or two matches that were like for the actual title and stuff that weren't involved, but it was mostly that.
Made that comment earlier that this was just a B show. Like this whole pay-per-view was like Collision or something, or Rampage or something,
Yeah.
And this should not have been, most of these matches should not have been on this card for a pay-per-view. You should be building up actual storylines to make you want to watch Collision or make you want to watch Dynamite, not some tournament.
Yeah, but the thing is, usually, I guess maybe because, I don't know, they didn't think of it or pay-per-views were too close together. But normally what they do is that they have all the tournament matches during Dynamite, Collision, whatever. But then the final match
should be, the final match should be part of a pay-per-view, not the preliminary matches themselves. That's just a waste of spots on the card. And they probably had to put the Owen Hart Cup there because all their doggone wrestlers are all injured.
Yeah, because like instead of Dynasty, they should have just been called the Owen Cup Tournament, like pay-per-view.
Yeah, pay-per-view. I I mean, seriously, it's just But anyway, for this match, Ospreay did beat Kevin Knight. Who didn't expect that? See that coming? Because what are we probably going to get? And this is my prediction. Probably going to end up at some point Fletcher versus Ospreay again.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about. This predictability nonsense. But anyway, yeah, I'll let you
Okay, so JR
like,
was called in.
Panda, did you want to say anything?
I was gonna say now before you say that, Wendy, don't count Knight out because Knight literally, in a way, is kind of like a protege to Ospreay because I mean he's won the IWGP titles. He was formerly in New Japan. They almost have the same similar fight style. And if you remember that part, if you remember, he actually, sure, he lost, but he lost strong. He didn't lose to just one move and it was over. He got Styles Clash. There was another reversal move, and it took him pulling out the hidden blade for him to finally get him down. So he didn't finish weak, and that was a banger of a match.
Yeah,
I almost, it was getting to the point I almost thought Ospreay was about to pull out the Tiger Driver because of how back and forth they were in that match.
Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. And I guess after Mark goes over some of this, because I actually really did like this match. This is one of the few matches on the card I really, really liked.
Yeah, good opener.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, some of the notes I got here, William can of course add in things here and there. So JR, actually pulled out JR to call this match. It looks like he really enjoyed it. Will went for the Styles Clash, but Kevin reversed it into a DDT onto the floor.
Now that was weird trying to see that because it's like we had to that was just a weird move there, man. It was like
Yeah. So Will was outside for a good while. He almost lost to a count out. Of course, he got in there in time. Kevin Knight spikes Ospreay with a DDT, and he's still kicked out. Ospreay tries to do another Styles Clash, and Kevin does another DDT. Kevin does a UFO splash off the top rope, hits him, but Ospreay still kicks out of that. So finally, like we said, Ospreay did manage to hit him with the hidden blade, got the pin, and got the win, but still a pretty good match. But
Kevin, I think, has a lot of potential too. But like I said, I just know they probably want to screw it up. Like with everyone else, really.
Yeah. But any additional details or things you want to add in there, Panda? Or any thoughts, Johnny, while Panda comes back?
Well, this whole Kevin Knight thing was very last minute because wasn't it supposed to be who was supposed to be
Jay White. But Jay White got injured.
Yeah, he got injured from his wrist or hand. I forget what it was, but yeah.
But basically because he got injured really bad, they had to put Kevin Knight. But I actually kind of liked Kevin Knight because it kind of made the match a little bit more unpredictable in certain aspects. I mean, of course, Will Ospreay was going to win the match, but I'm just saying that it's unpredictable in the sense that we were not expecting to see Kevin Knight in this match. And, for me, this is like the first time I've seen Kevin Knight wrestle on a match. So far, from what I've seen, I'm pretty impressed. He has a lot of charisma. And I don't know, I kind of like the way he wrestles. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing more matches with Kevin Knight if AEW just to correcting to promote him more, but who knows at this point. But yeah, it was still a decent match, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah, if anything, they should do a Ospreay Knight Part 2. Or at some point along the lines, 9 out of 10, they're going to have them tag team. I know they are. But a Part 2 would definitely be a banger if they do it right.
The key word here is if.
If. Yeah, if they do it right. I know Ospreay and Knight will do their parts right. But as far as hyping it up, getting it set up for a match, that part's questionable. If anything, to me, this match should have been later down the card because it was a really good match. I mean, to start off the pay-per-view, good way of getting people hyped, but honestly, I would have kept that for later on in the card before, say, the Kenny Omega match.
I actually really like this match. I like seeing the Kevin Knight stuff. And like I said, the moves that they were doing, I mean, seriously, how do you have like that style class and then reverse that into a DDT? It was just so amazing how flawless they were when they did it. I was like, okay. All right, so now after that match, we have the Hurt Syndicate. And remember, they hurt people. And they were going up against the Learning Tree. And anybody know anything about this series, they were going to lose. Because, come on, who realistically can beat the Hurt Syndicate at this point?
Yeah, so pretty much the backstory was that I guess Jericho was getting sick and tired of them losing and everything. So he told him, I guess, to kind of like shape up or whatever, do something, go on their own, prove their worth or whatever. So Brian Keith and Big Bill, they wanted to challenge the Hurt Syndicate. And at first, MVP was kind of like, yeah, actually win some matches first, then we'll see and everything. So they did win a couple of matches, and that's how we got to this point here. So just to get real quick, the notes, there wasn't too many notes here, but basically the Learning Tree kind of held up okay, mostly with Big Bill doing most of the stuff because poor Brian Keith was a punching bag of the duo. He is like the smallest dude compared to all of them and everything. And yeah, because Benjamin and Lashley are big, muscular motherfuckers. And the thing is that even though Big Bill is taller than Lashley still got more muscle overall.
Mm-hmm.
So surprisingly, sometime near the end of the match, while they were fighting close to where audience is, MJF was actually in the crowd and he got to sock Lashley with he actually socked Big. No, wait a minute, that makes no. No, yeah, he did. Yeah, he socked Big Bill
but it kind of
with
like
the,
I saw. Yeah, you didn't see it, but I did. So like he was outside the ring, and it was like bam. Then I saw him duck.
Yeah,
and then it's like oh.
Yeah, and then so MJF socked Big Bill with the dynamite diamond ring of his, and then he ducked out so the ref wouldn't catch it. And Lashley speared him, and Her Syndicate won with Shelton pinning Keith and everything. So they lost that match. Her Syndicate, of course, changed the titles. Like we said, at this point of the story, they're very strong and unstoppable. That we couldn't really see these guys being the ones to dethrone them.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Anybody that actually thought that they would win the match was on some serious crack, and that's why everybody went for the Hurt Syndicate. Even though William unfortunately didn't get his prediction in, but I would have assumed you would have chosen the Hurt Syndicate as well.
Chosen them too. Yeah. But we'll go into the aftermath after the Jericho match later on there.
Yeah.
But thoughts, William?
Yeah, so far, like MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin, that's a pretty big team for you to have, especially, to have them lose against like Keith and Big Cass. Let's face it, those two are basically jobbers. I mean, I don't care if they're under Jericho, under Ric Flair. They could be under Sting. They would still just be jobbers. I mean, just big time jobbers. So, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Lashley and Cass, that's just two big men slapping meat. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. But I'm wondering as far as their story writing goes, I wonder what their intentions are as far as having MJF interrupt the match and punch Cass with the ring. Now that's something that I'm just kind of like, okay, that's interesting, but where is it going to lead to? But
now one thing is, I'm sorry.
Overall, the match was just kind of there. It just felt like filler.
Yeah, but that's further the storyline of what's going on. So yeah, Lashley and them, they don't like MJF, and in this last episode of Dynamite, there was like a celebration thing with them celebrating, and MJF just shows up and just kind of poses with them like, yeah, one of you guys, yeah, people, and they're looking at him like, man, what's this fool doing here, and all that. So Bobby and to a lesser extent, Benjamin kind of, I guess he tolerates MJF, but Bobby just flat out hates him and gets in his face and all that kind of stuff. And MVP's trying to keep them calm because, he's good for business, man, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I don't know, it's a weird storyline, you know what I mean? Is that they want MJF but then it's like they don't trust them and whatever. And then like MVP also walked out. He's like, yeah, man, to be part of the Hurt Syndicate, we need 2 thumbs up. So logically, these guys put their thumbs down, and he just walks off. And I'm thinking, but you were the guys that gave him the business card in the first place. You were the guys that kept like bugging him until he joined you guys. So
No, not
that makes
exactly.
sense.
That was MVP that was doing that. Bobby
Yeah.
and Shelton just really didn't, they didn't care for him at all. So if anything, I think now that you brought that together, I think later on down the plot line, something's gonna happen. This MJF is gonna pretty much cause the end of the Hurt Syndicate. My words on this.
Oh God. Your thoughts, Johnny?
Yeah, personally, I didn't really care too much about this match, and I felt like it was a waste of space for the pay-per-view. Like it should have been some other match. Like I don't think this is not like for a pay-per-view match.
All right. So on that note, the next match we had was Mercedes versus Julia Hart, which is another one of those Owen Hart tournament matches. So, anyways, for this one, real quick, the only person that went for Julia Hart was Jupes. Everyone else went for Mercedes and everything. And we gotta say it's a very close match, very technical on Julia's part. She got lots of wrestling moves in there. She actually grabbed her in a standing octopus hold, which is pretty badass right there. Mercedes tried to do her hold, I forgot the name of it. Was it called the Moneymaker or something? Her finisher hold thing?
Mhm.
Yeah. So she was trying to do her Moneymaker, but then Julia reverses it into her own submission move, and Mercedes almost tapped out. I was really surprised with that one. They really did play the suspense because she was nowhere near the ropes for a break or nothing. It really looked like she was like, I was like, oh my God, aren't you going to have her tap out? You know what I mean? Because I just didn't really see Julia as the one to like dethrone her, but I was like, holy shit, it was close. So they switched around, and Mercedes got her back in the Moneymaker. Julia gets out of it, tries to go for a pin. Mercedes actually grabs her for the pin and still wins the match. Of course, me and Wendy were like, oh, fuck, and all that. And Athena is watching like the monitors and stuff. But I always hate that thing in wrestling, though. Random monitor there, the people are just there, like, looking, like get a couch or something, or watching from your backstage trailer thing. Little personal rooms they always have, not just standing there. I'm just standing here in the hall watching it. That always look. The WWE does the same thing. That always looked so whatever. But anyways, Mercedes wins. She retains her title. A lot of teasing going on between her and Athena, and of course, the way the brackets are working out, we're thinking that eventually we're gonna have we have to have Mercedes clash with Athena eventually, and see what happens there and everything. But any thoughts, guys, on that one?
Yeah, so that was an okay match. Monet's opponent did do fairly well. It was a lot of back and forth. Um, Now the part that I was impressed by was, yeah, the octopus hold, which is a really hard hold to pull, and she pulled it off effortlessly. Like she did it ridiculously well. Like she'd done this a million times over. And then when they were on the ropes, she actually put her in the old the tarantula move that Tajiri used to do.
Yeah,
So yeah, so on a technical level, like she's really good. I mean, I hope they give her a better push even after this whole Owen Hart tournament deal. But yeah, like you could see the foreshadowing on the wall that it's gonna end up being her and Athena at the very end of this.
yeah.
So I mean, that's what they've been plotting for. That's what's been going for. So I mean, it was a good match despite what's coming next. But overall, it wasn't too bad. It was
Yeah.
decent.
My thoughts on that one is that Athena might win that one because if the title's down the line, Mercedes can afford to lose that match, and it might set it up for later on an actual title match down the line, possibly. Your thoughts, Johnny?
Okay, about this match, I actually liked it. I mean, not super thrilled about it because I already knew how predictable this match was going to be because, Monet always has to win all these stupid matches. But, I did like the fact that Julia Hart did, give Monet a challenge. And she was really good in this match. And she did a lot of good wrestling techniques. She's very technical, and I like that about Julia Hart. And she's very well focused too. She's well focused on her craft. Unlike Monet, that she's so flashy all the time. She's all about being flashy. And I like the fact that yeah, it was a very good match in that aspect. But at the same time, I kind of hated the match because I already knew that yeah, once Julia Hart gets tapped out for that shit, like yeah, Monet's gonna win the match. It's like, fucking, the thing that bothers me is that it wouldn't be so bad if Monet would kind of lose a couple of matches once in a while. Make her, if they want to go with the storyline that she's the most powerful woman wrestler, blah 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 blah, and that she has to win all these matches. Okay, but at least have a match or two that she loses so that it doesn't at least look that predictable. Because her winning every freaking match, it gets old after a while. And even the audience during the match were rooting more for Julia Hart compared to Monet. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, yeah. I don't know.
See, Monet right now is in a spot where Jade Cargill used to be, the monster, the completely undefeatable character. So now that Jade's gone and they've got Monet, they're using her in that spot. And it's not looking really too good for her because Jade, sure, she can't wrestle, but she had the physique to look like an unstoppable force. Monet, she can wrestle to an extent, but she does not look that strong in the ring, even in the matches that she wins. Like, if she looked strong in the ring, even on any match whatsoever, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's like she botches moves. It's like she almost doesn't even prep for the matches. That's the one thing that really bothers me with Monet. Like, if you're gonna look strong in a match, act strong in the match. Don't just sit there and kind of botch it and make it look like you're just dialing it in half the time.
For this match, I was going to say I decided to be the contrarian because it wasn't a title match. It was just for the Owen Hart Cup. But that was also before I knew about most of the Athena stuff that was starting to go on. And with the brackets, so as Mark mentioned earlier, we're probably going to get, well, we should end up with Mercedes and Athena at some point. And if Mercedes beats Athena, I'm like, no. Because I think it altogether is going to end up being Billy Starks versus Athena at the end of all of that. But we'll see. Well, a rematch for that one.
Yeah, the thing is, the brackets don't align in that way. They don't align in the way that the final match is Mercedes versus Athena. There's going to be more matches after that eventually.
Yeah, Athena has a match on Collision, and she's going against Harley Cameron.
Yeah, Harley Cameron.
So we know she's going to lose. So, so Athena's going to win that, and Mercedes already won her bracket because she beat Julia Hart. So they should be going up against each other. And then on the other side, I bet you Billy Stark's going to win her match, and she's going to be going up against, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, so anyway, what if it ends out, and this is past due, Monet wins it and then gets challenged by Willow Nightingale?
She's not in it.
No, but general.
Yeah. In general. You mean after the tournament? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because Willow's been showing up a lot more in AEW as of late.
Yeah. So anyways, now we got a big one due to how it ended. We got the Death Riders versus Rated FTR Trios title. So it's like Claudio, Yuta, and Pac going up against Dax and Cash, and of course
Edge.
Copeland, Edge, whatever. And in this one, all of us went for FTR. And so basically for this one, everyone loved Copeland and his theme. They got the thing now that when they cut the theme, the people still sing like 2 or 3 extra bars of the song, a cappella style, and it's just awesome, So anyways, Claudio's theme has been changed to now sounding like a more, I guess, evil version of the whatever you call that theme, that circus theme or whatever theme it is. I know it has a name. I just don't know the name of it. But you know the whole whatever that theme happens to be called. And now it's like more slower and evil. And I was all we're now edgy and evil now. You know that kind of shit.
We're stuck in the 90s.
Yep. So, anyways, Claudio tries to do the sharpshooter on Cash, while Dax is doing a sharpshooter on Yuta. And since they're both the legal men, they can't do anything because they got, you know, the non-legal man in the holes. What can they do, you know? And they're staring at each other and slapping each other while still in the hold. And the other guys are, of course, you know, suffering and trying not to tap or whatever. Claudio does the big swing on Cash. Dax took a lot of damage during the match.
For these days.
Yep. All three Death Riders do dashing elbows on him, just taking turns on him and everything. He gets a power driver from Pac. There's a diving headbutt from Yuta, and then another diving headbutt from Pac. With basically Claudio was like picking them up and setting them up so he could do diving headbutts on Dax, and then. Okay, Pac, now it's your turn. Okay, Yuta, now it's your turn. So like Dax is like taking all the shit.
It was like a factory. It was like a conveyor belt type situation. It was so stupid.
Yep. So Pac has Dax in the brutalizer, and the others are doing their best to keep the opponent, you know, keep the guys out of the way so they can't do anything. Cash slammed Yuta into them. Yeah, he picked them up and slammed them on top to break up that you know, the. So he doesn't tap out or whatever. Yuta pushes Cope into Dax. Yuta hits him with the Busaiko knee and pins Dax for the wins. Holy shit, Yuta did something. You know what I mean? And everything. So, you know, the matches, whatever. You know, the Death Riders leave. The team, the FTR team, they're kind of, you know, looking whatever because he lost and all that. You know, the whole, you're standing in the ring, looking dejected. He lost the match, whatever. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Dax grabs Cope and hits him with the pile driver. Then he grabs a chair and is going to hit him with a concerto. And at first it looks like Cash is like, dude, what you doing? What you doing? And you know, Dax shoves him back like, you know, whatever. Like he's going full on heel. But then surprisingly, Dax picks up Cope and Cash goes along with it, and you do their, whatever you call their double team move on him. And then on top of that, Cash actually grabs the chairs and he does a concerto on Cope, and then he does a second one on him, and then of course everyone starts talking about like, oh my god, you know, the neck injury, how could they do this, what the hell? So it's like
it's a Tony Schiavone, man.
Yeah, not just Dax turning heel, like they both turn heel, and he just walk off and everything, and of course all the medical people, to make it worse, the medical people come and they got like the stretcher and stuff, and Dash and them, like I think one of them got to the stretcher all pretending and stuff, and of course it's like, it's like wasting time. You know, it's like critical, gotta get them quick, so they're wasting time. They shove the stretcher to fall down and stuff, and they just walk off and all that. And in the episode of Dynamite, they didn't appear or anything, but Schiavone, I guess, good acting there, was like really like the whole, oh god, the knuckles were white with rage, right? The whole you know, like, oh, these people did, I've seen a lot of stuff through all my years there, but it was like the sickest display I've ever seen, considering the fact that Cole had the neck injury, whatever, and what, you know, these guys did what they did, like the most despicable thing I've ever seen. Like, this is not professional at all. And like, you know, like really into it, you know?
Yeah,
like seething in, I guess, active rage and all that.
No. Actually, what I said though? Mm-hmm. He was actually channeling how annoying and asinine the booking is in AEW, so he was using that to channel his fake anger over Cope's neck injury.
Yeah, that's the funny part, because they probably go out for drinks after the show like nothing. Hey man, you really sold it, Giovanni. Yeah. You know,
I won't sell it.
Get your thing. There's like, hey man, you really sold that anger. Yeah. But you want to go with your thoughts with that one?
Yeah, the whole match, I didn't remember anything until you just mentioned some things.
You know what? I think you were sleeping maybe, and I was like, oh my god, why'd you look? And all that, stuff. Yeah.
But I do remember the part where Claudio was pretty much just throwing the other two like torpedoes or like javelins.
I know Johnny was posting like what the fuck or something when that happened.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I kind of fell asleep during the match, but the aftermath I was kind of awake for, and I was a little surprised. I'm like, so where are they going to go with this? You know, I mean, they gotta do some women. And like I said, I didn't really care about this match because I just don't care about FTR anymore. I mean, I gave up on them so long ago with the way they were booked. I'm just like, whatever. I can't care about them anymore. And now they're turning heel. I still can't care about them. Because, we got to get their reasoning as to why they did what they did to Edge.
I know
And I
I
know
watched this
they-
episode of Collision. They're going to talk about it, but we'll probably watch the replay tomorrow because I really want to see what they.
I thought they did it on Dynamite.
I don't know. Like I said, Shivani mentioned it, but we didn't see nothing. That's for tonight's episode of Collision.
Oh, I thought I would just sleep for it. Okay, gotcha.
Probably, but no. But like I said, I want to watch the replay tomorrow because I want to see what they say.
Yeah, so it was kind of a surprise seeing that. So, your thoughts, guys?
Okay. Well, I thought it was kind of funny that Claudio was chucking everybody around like lawn darts.
Yeah.
I thought that was like the funniest part, but also the more painful part in there was when he grabbed Dax and he's doing the big swing, and then Shibata just in mid swing just drop kicks him, just drop kicks Dax, and I'm like, okay, ooh, even for a fake bump, that looked a little raunch. But here's my thing, and I'm kind of agreeing with you, Wendy. As far as what's going on with FTR, it's too little, too late. I mean, you've had these guys on a constant, consistent, unhealthy losing streak for God knows how long, and now they finally win, and you turn them heel. Worse yet, you turn them against Cope, and then you just like insult the injury, like Dax gets on the stretcher. He's got like the fake neck brace, and he's joking on Cope on the way out the door. Like, I'm just like, what exactly was the point of that? I mean, if there was some storytelling, maybe some again, storytelling needed. If there was some sort of build up to this, some sort of build up as to what Cope did to piss them off so bad that they felt like they needed to jump him and beat him until they had to put him on a stretcher, that'd be great. But this just kind of happened out of nowhere. That'd just be like you, me, and Mark and everybody hanging out, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Johnny just comes in and jump kicks me in the head. Why? Who knows? Nobody knows. There was no build up to it. There was no plot to it. I didn't get a call going, oh, Johnny said he's gonna drop kick me in the head at 2:30. Nothing. There's just no
Johnny says like, that's what you get. Then you're like, well, why? Well, what do you do? What happened?
Hey, what did I
mean,
do?
Did I do something to Britt Baker? I don't know. Like, there's so much that just needs to be answered before the results of that match and before that betrayal of Cope. And I hope they answer it in the next show. Otherwise, it's gonna be fucking pointless and ridiculous. The match was just okay. It was fun watching Claudio like fling people around, but otherwise, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, I have kind of
the story with lost in translation.
Oh, that reminds me of that MCU scene. I think it was like not Black Panther, but I think it was Infinity War, one of them. And we were talking about the storylines. It's like, no, we don't do that here.
All right, Johnny, how about your thoughts? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I kind of have the same opinion. I mean, it was kind of entertaining with the whole Claudio Castagnoli, rolling the people around or whatever. But other than that, what the hell happened to FTR? Why did they just turn heel all of a sudden against Cope? Like, what's the storyline behind that one? Like, what's the reason behind that? Like, I'm just as confused as everybody else. And I'm kind of like, I kind of have like your same point of view, Wendy, as well. Like, FTR doesn't really, I mean, I kind of like them as a tag team, but they're not like the ultimate, most badass wrestlers we have in AEW right now. Mm-hmm. And just turn, I mean, here's the thing. If you're going to turn heel, you have to already be a very good wrestler that people are like invested, like, oh shit, like this is a weird, turn of events that they all of a sudden become heel. But the way FTR have been booked lately, it's kind of like, wait, what? Like, what? So we're supposed to just all of a sudden like used by this or invested by this? Like, I don't see the point.
Yeah,
That I'm sorry. That and one other note, the whole time while I was watching the match, seeing Pac back, it's good to see him. But in the back of my mind, through the entire match, I'm going, don't get injured. Don't get injured. Don't get injured. Because it seems like every time Pac comes back, 2 weeks later, he's on the injured list again.
Well, at least he hasn't been put on the milk carton yet.
Yeah.
The bad thing I don't like about like FTR is that I went from not caring about them because they look like just so generic compared to everyone else, as a tag team, to caring about them because I really loved the FTR versus Briscoe matches they had, to like now once again not caring about them anymore.
Yeah, and also too with the FTR thing, they're starting to become as generic as everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's a problem too. Because like you said, FTR, then it just whatever.
Yeah, another bad thing is that Copeland didn't really do too many. You can see by your notes, it was mostly about the other guys. Copeland himself didn't really do many, any memorable thing except for what happened to him at the end.
Taking the two concertos, that's about it.
Yeah, like I know he had his moments and all that, but he just didn't do anything that really stood out, I guess.
Maybe I want to wait for it.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe Cope's actually like legit injured and this was his out match.
I was thinking that.
They give him a fake injury to wheel him out, because that's something that you did bring to attention, Mark. That's a good point. He didn't really do much in the match. He was more like there for support, but he really didn't do too much in that match. It's almost like something's already injured and they're going to write him off. And this was their way of writing him off so he could fix whatever's wrong with him. Because usually, Cope, Edge, whatever you want to call him, he's usually fully functional in a match. Like, if he's in a match, doesn't matter whether it's a tag, 3-man, or whatever, when it's time to get in there, he's in there. This one, he was kind of just like off to the sides or off on the rope, just, on the side of the ring, half knocked out or whatever. He didn't really do too much in the match.
He didn't put beer in the match, did he?
I don't think so. So he left for a while. He came back as Cope. If he does leave now, is he gonna come back as Land or some other weird version of his name?
Land.
Oh, like separate Cope Land, like yeah.
Oh, that's just sad, man. That's just so sad.
He's Canadian. Maybe he'll come back as Copenhagen.
Anyway, next match, please.
Okay, so next one we have is actually not part of the tournament. It's for the Women's World Championship. It's Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne. Of course, she's been making a name of herself, just knocking around the larger women of the roster, showing her strength and stuff.
And DJF and I were the only one decided to be contrarians. We went for Megan Bayne because when you think about it, Toni does not need this title. She has already had her run. Megan Bayne is like a powerhouse. She can actually do moves in the ring. You may be still wet behind the ears there, but she can actually wrestle. And she's like Jade, except she can wrestle. And she, she's strong. She should have won the match. She would have been a great person to hold a title and then have everyone challenge her for it. Be like a powerhouse, I would think.
I'm sure it'll come eventually, though. Maybe because she's still too new and all that. I still feel that having Penelope Ford help her cheat kind of.
That's annoying me too. The whole Penelope Ford thing, but she should not need anybody to help her because she's already dominated on her own. Why does she need a stooge to help her?
Yeah. So, anyways, the match starts out with a Rocky-ish theme. I don't know if it was the Rocky theme.
It was like a bootleg version of it.
It was like a lawyer-friendly version of it. And Toni came up like full on Rocky, and you actually had a little montage of her like working out and doing the steps and all that kind of junk.
The other thing missed was her punching me.
Yeah.
But Hog wasn't available.
Yeah. So anyways, so she comes up with the robe and all that, and Luther came out like Mickey, and he was actually doing all the come on, you can do it, all that kind of thing. Oh man, I guess because I don't know, legal trouble or whatever, but I would have loved to have like, yeah, come on, Tony, we're gonna make you eat lightning and drop thunder and all that kind of stuff. But, anyways,
They were in Philadelphia, so
yeah. So they're fighting it out, and there's the part where Luther was on his knees, and Tony like stepped on him and used him as extra leverage to do a spinning DDT on Megan Bayne. That was pretty cool. Penelope kept interfering until Luther flats out just picks her up and carries her to hell out of the ring. And whatever happens there, that's between those two. And yeah. So Bayne took 4 of Tony's flying big ass attacks because that's the ass, that's not the hip that's hitting you. And she still kicked out at 1. So in other words, Bayne can take a lot of ass. So Bayne did several body slams, and she's about to pick up Tony for one last, big slam to win the match. But Tony actually grabs her with an inside cradle pin and wins, or actually what she calls it, the small package pin, and wins. Which of course she always later in interviews or whatever says, "Oh yes, she took the package. I gave her the biggest package she's ever taken in her life," and all that kind of innuendos.
See, that's the only reason they let her win, so she can make up have excuses and opportunities to say crap like that and be all extra whatever. Yeah, like I said, my opinion, Paige should have won this match, but I do have a problem with the finish. I'm sorry. She took all that damage, and she could kick out of all that other stuff that should be normal finishers for people. But then that finish, that's what does her in. She kicked out at what? What do you say?
Like 4 different flying ass attacks.
And with a 1 count, but she couldn't handle that finish.
And then the other thing, I don't know how they. I think they mentioned one time that the wrestler just knows really well when to snap their head back. It always looks so nasty. Every time she does the flying ass attack on the person, it looks like instant concussion and whiplash at the same time. The way the head just hits hard the turnbuckle behind you, right? It looks like your head's gonna, the opponent's head's gonna fucking pop off
or the neck. Get some neck damage there. Oh no, Edge's neck damage situation. I mean,
But apparently, from what I hear, is that Tony, despite the visual, she knows not to throw her full weight, and the person knows how to roll their head back with it to synchronize it. But that still looks like, if the timing is off, man.
Oh. Well, it could be worse. It could be stink face from Rikishi.
Yeah.
Or the bonsai drop from Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Hey, thoughts, guys?
Okay. Well, I did think the intro was kind of funny. I mean, I forgot that they were in Philly. And then she starts off with the whole Rocco intro. We can't call it Rocky. That was Rocco, so that was a good knockoff. The match was pretty impressive. One thing that I did see that I thought was really, really scary was in the middle of the match, there was a part where Toni Storm had did a suplex on Megan off the second rope. And it didn't look like Megan had rotated her head enough, and it almost looked like she smacked her face in the apron.
I remember that now, yeah.
Yeah. That part looked like yeah, she might have hurt something. But I agree with you. There's one thing I agree with you with, Wendy, and one thing I disagree with you with. Yeah, sure. Megan Bayne shouldn't have won that match. Now, this shouldn't have been a title match, but she shouldn't have won that match because it's still too early for her, to be winning. She just got into AEW not that long ago. But the one thing I do agree with you with, she is actually a strong wrestler on her own. Her character does not need a lackey. Sure, Tony's got her Luther. Bayne doesn't need a lackey. She's strong enough. She doesn't need a entourage character to interfere in the matches for her. I will say this though. Luther was the handiest weapon I've ever seen in AEW, between the spinning DDT off of his back and Bayne just pretty much La Plancha diving on him. he was one of the more valuable tools in that match. So I got to give props to Luther for
Right, she
that
did
one.
a dive and he took it for Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the most valuable object in that game, in that match. But still, you know, give
That was a
Bane
weapons
a
match.
couple more matches, then yeah, I can see her being a Tony Storm later on down the line. But right now, she's a bit too new. They need to kind of work on her a little bit, get rid of Penelope, or let Penelope have a solo run, whatever the hell they're going to do with her, and I think they'll be all right. Now, the
Yeah, 'cause that's the
last
thing I
part,
think about Penelope. Like I don't like you said, we shouldn't need her, but it gives maybe something to do because she's whatever. I mean, this gives her an excuse to be on TV every week.
Yeah, but the other thing too, they keep trying to build the way they're trying to sell Megan Bain is that she's like she keeps to herself. She's quiet. She doesn't, like a lone wolf type. She shouldn't have, like I said, she shouldn't need that. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't be a lone wolf, but you also still need a lackey. That don't make sense.
And you can't be like a powerful heel, but you still
But you
need a
still
lackey.
need a lackey to interfere in your matches. I mean, she's not Moxley.
Like imagine, oh, that's a good example. Imagine if what's his face, uh, what's his stupid name, Brock Lesnar back in his dominant era. Imagine him needing, I don't know, Hornswoggle to have him cheat during the matches or whatever. It's like you don't
I
need him
mean,
there.
there is one way they could resolve this whole thing. Let's see. Uh, I don't know. Make Penelope a solo wrestler, seeing as they don't have that many women in their women's division, because a lot of them are either getting injured or going to AEW or doing more independence. Hmm. Nah, we wouldn't do
Yeah,
anything like
that's
that.
that's a crazy idea.
Everything is great.
Ding. But going back to what you were saying earlier about like how you said maybe it was just too early. I think the thing is, I don't know. I just want her to have something. But like you said, I guess I guess too, it really should not have been a title match. I think I would have liked that a little better if it wasn't. And then, showing how she held up her own and then she wins strong because to me that finish made her look kind of weak because of that, like I said, she took all that aggression and all those other hits, 1 count, kick out, that little weak thing, 3 count. That's like taking like 5 power trappers and then you're getting them some, and then I don't know, a slap to the face, and all of a sudden, you're knocked out, and you get the pin. No, a European uppercut, and then you get pinned, and that's it.
Yeah. One thing I forgot what her first match was in AEW, but it did rub me the wrong way that she won it because Penelope Ford interfered.
Yeah, and it bugged
And
me
I'm
too.
like, dude, that's not how you introduce like your big monster heel,
Yeah. So
Johnny,
thoughts,
what's your
John?
thought?
Yeah, I think this match was very good, and it was very entertaining, and I liked Megan Bain. Like she has a very good technical wrestling style, and yeah, I kind of want to see more of her. Hopefully, they can promote her, on AEW, and I don't know. I'm kind of like split because on one hand, like Tony Storm's gonna win the match, but it would have been kind of cool if Megan Bain win this match as well. Just for the fact it just brings something unpredictable in this freaking pay-per-view, damn it. Because like a lot of these matches we're already predicting, oh, this person's gonna win. Oh no, that person's gonna win. Oh, this is it's kind of like surprise us a little bit, so that we're not like
that would have been a big surprise if she would have won this match.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, like I said, it's a bit too early for her, but I think they would have probably made it closer if there was no title on the line. If there was no title, then it would have probably been like something close or maybe a DQ or something. But I think that's the only reason why Tony won that match.
Ironically, if it was a Owen Hart match, she would have probably had Megan Bain beat her.
Well, that don't mean anything either.
Because that would have been like a non-title,
Yeah, 'cause it's sort of like my reasoning with Mercedes until I found out about Athena, how Athena probably wants, to go against Mercedes because they had that confrontation and all that. So
Yeah.
Ooh, now that would be a good match. Bane versus Athena. That's just something to look out for.
So then the other thing we have here is next match we got is Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe, which I believe was another Owen Hart match and everything. And
yeah, it was another Owen Hart Cup match.
Yeah,
everyone went for Fletcher except for Jack, and unfortunately, William didn't get his prediction in for that one.
Yeah, it is announced this match is way too late, and you know how it is. We understand everyone's working and stuff.
Yeah, everybody has lives outside of the internet and AEW people.
Yeah. So, anyways, earlier in the match, Briscoe brought a chair into the ring because he likes to prop it up and do his thing where he kind of like jumps off the chair to do a suicide dive or something.
Yep.
And the referee took it away. So then Briscoe goes out there and grabs a whole bunch of more chairs so that hopefully the ref, while he's busy getting rid of them, he can use one for his thing. But unfortunately, while the ref is too busy getting rid of the chairs and he can't see what's going on, Fletcher takes this chance to grab Briscoe and hit him with a suplex onto the chair, which of course ref doesn't get to see. So Takashita is in the backstage watching because he recently lost his title. So he's kind of watching. Yep.
Yeah, Takashita's mad, I guess. It's like,
Yeah.
take a little whatever.
So Fletcher tosses Mark Briscoe back first towards the crowd barricade. So
yeah,
that looked nasty.
painful.
Yep. Brody Lee is also watching backstage. Okay. And Fletcher hits Briscoe with a turnbuckle brainbuster and wins the match that way. And that was a pretty epic match. You know, Briscoe did what he does. And just, the redneck kung fu. I remember he was doing it. And you sat and you're like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, yeah, you remember when you directed Kung Fu.
I was like, oh yeah, in Philadelphia. All right.
Yep. and all that. But yeah, for many people, they expected that because again, with the brackets and stuff, we're expecting a Fletcher versus Ospreay confrontation. So it's pretty predictable that Briscoe's going to take the L on this one and everything.
I think at this point, Briscoe just doing whatever, just to be happy.
But he's conglomerating. He's trying to what was it like diversify
his
portfolio. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the best part of Briscoe is just the promos because he goes so crazy that everyone, including Renee, is trying so hard not to laugh. And it's funny because even like Orange Cassidy gets a gimmick, and you still see him trying hard not to laugh and say with that serious no care look on his face.
Mm-hmm.
But just so hard, like, oh yeah, we're conglomerate. Oh god, I got the beard, don't I? Oh yeah, we're conglomerating here. We got the situation here. We're gonna do a conglomeration. We're gonna get these guys. We're gonna stop them. We're gonna just knock them out and beat them up the way we know how.
And I got a couple of teeth. If you're all right.
Oh god, no, I didn't think of that. Because I got the beard, and the beard's kind of gray like his, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So thoughts on the match, guys?
Okay. So yeah, that was a pretty rough match. Again, he's right on Briscoe's promos. They're too funny. Like, if you can almost get Orange Cassidy to lose it, you're doing a good job as far as your promos. But yeah, this was a pretty strong match. It does prove that Kyle Fletcher can do a little bit of strong style there, or should I say Will Ospreay Jr., because let's face it, he looks like his evil twin. Let's just be real about it. Like, I think Kyle Fletcher and Ospreay were separated at birth. But yeah, it was a pretty rough match. When Briscoe slammed Fletcher into that guardrail, I thought he seriously got injured. I was waiting for a ref to just be like, no.
But then you remember this AEW. That's not that'll happen.
No, we don't do that here.
Oh yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, borderline. It was a good match. They both beat the hell out of each other. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I got nothing to complain about on that one. Johnny, what do you got?
Sorry guys, I was eating some mangoes. No, not mangoes. I mean some pineapples. Okay, but going with this match, it was pretty good, and I kind of like I kind of like the direction they're going with Kyle Fletcher. He's just going more heel by the minute, and he looks totally different compared to I don't know how he was back in the day. So that was kind of interesting. It's interesting to see how they keep going with Kyle Fletcher in terms of that. In terms of the whole match, I didn't really remember too much, but I do know that because Kyle Fletcher's in it, it's going to be very flexible. He's going to do a lot of crazy shit in the ring.
Mhm.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I really don't remember too much about the match.
Our next matchup here is the Jericho versus Bandito match. Ring of Honor World Championship versus Bandito's mask. So
Yeah,
if
you know
Jericho,
the big deal. Oh, you can go now.
oh yeah. So of course, if Bandito wins, he gets the title, and if Jericho wins, he gets to unmask Bandito. And as we know with luchas, that is like one of the most heinous things you could do to a luchador is to take their mask off.
Yeah,
to
to be
remove their
exposing your
mask.
face to everyone and ruining their career and everything.
Yeah, but apparently it's not that much of a big deal because his sister and mother surely know who he is.
Yeah. So, anyways, Jeff Jarrett was announcing earlier that this is going to be the match of the night because the stakes are high for Bandito and all that. So, yeah. So basically, Jericho runs in, and let me see here. Yeah, he runs in with a code breaker. He goes for the quick pin. The Bandito kicks out. Bandito picks up Jericho for a vertical suplex, and yeah, that was crazy. He held him up for a solid like maybe a minute and a half or something like that, which it feels like a long time. You know how it is, the blood rushes to your head. It reminds me of Amy Suckwood. I used to do that a lot. Like just hold you up there, just hold you up there, just hold you up there, and all that. And then finally slams his ass down.
Wait, does she still work there?
I don't know. She maybe in Ring of Honor, because that's the thing. She was mostly on Dark and Dark Elevation. Those shows are gone. But she might still be on Ring of Honor once in a while. I don't know. But anyways, let me see here. Jericho does the power bomb off the apron and onto the floor. So that's pretty intense. Keith comes in trying to cheat there as usual. Gravity comes in. Gravity grabs him, and Aubrey tries to break it up. And while he's trying to break it up, and she's distracted, Jericho hits Bandito with the bat. So he pins and he wins and everything, and everyone saw whatever. But then I guess Aubrey was still trying to clear the ring, and she was too close to the crowd. And the mother and sister called her over, and they're mentioning about the bat and the whatever they were cheating and that kind of stuff.
But Aubrey, just so you know, Aubrey was not the Aubrey wasn't the referee.
Yeah,
she was the referee. The Jericho match.
Yep. So Aubrey finds out about the baseball bat, and the match continues. So now Jericho grabs him to the sister, I guess, like, yo, mind your own business. The sister slaps him, and while he's busy, because distracted with the slap or whatever, Bandito grabs Jericho with a suplex pin. It's kind of cool because he kind of like, I guess, vaulted his feet off the ropes for the extra leverage, and then he wins the match.
The only downside to that is the fact that the setup was obvious.
Yeah, but what can I say? So Bandito is now, not only does he keep his mask, but he's also the new Ring of Honor champion. Of course, the mother, the sister, and Gravity are all there to help celebrate. And Jericho just leaves all like, disappointed, upset, and all that stuff. So just a very, very quick follow-up. On Dynamite, he was going to have his little learning tree thing. And Big Bill and Brian Keith show up. And he's about to berate them or whatever. He was mostly berating because we saw that Keith showed up, but Big Bill was nowhere during this match. So he's like, where were you? How were you? And all that kind of junk. And Bill started talking about, like, we're here and all that kind of stuff, but, we respect you and all that. But if you're here calling us to, like, just berate us on TV, then yeah, no, we're not having it. So Jericho kind of flips out a little bit, and he's kind of like, he has his bat, and he's kind of like, oh, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
And he
starts like breaking stuff, but he was saying like angry, like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. And he starts breaking down the monitor, and he starts breaking down all the little props of the learning tree. Yeah. And then I missed this part, but apparently backstage it showed like later.
He was walking backstage. He was like, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And there was like a crate, like maybe some bottles or something. He just, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And he knocked that down with his bat. Then he got into a car that was like a big, I guess, SUV or whatever, waiting for him, and the vehicle took off. So yeah.
Yes, we're gonna see what's happening. So I guess the learning tree is starting to kind of implode there. And we'll see what goes on.
The branches are starting to wilt and break.
Yeah, the branches are trying to.
But Brian Keith during that whole segment, he was still kind of, it's like he didn't want to say anything, but it's like he was trying his best to remain neutral by not agreeing or disagreeing with make Bill there because he was saying, yeah, Keith, Brian and I have talked about this. He didn't say anything. And then Jericho was looking at Keith and asking him, wait, do you agree with this? And he didn't give him a chance to answer.
Yeah.
And Brian Keith was like,
because no one respects Chris Jericho like Brian Keith respects Chris Jericho. Respect Chris Jericho.
Oh, like we said, Renee, you better not embarrass me for Chris Jericho again.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay. Your thoughts, guys? Whoever goes first.
Wait, what was the match again? I forgot. What happened? Oh, yeah, never mind. I forgot what match we were talking about. Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, for this one, everyone went for Bandita except for let's see, except for
Oh, I went for Jericho. Panda went for Jericho, even though he got to vote for this one.
Yeah,
but
yeah, everyone went for Bandito except for Mark and William.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the follow-up.
Yeah, like I was actually surprised on that one. I'm surprised Bandito actually won that. Now, my thing is, I'm just kind of looking at it going, oh wow, another faction of Chris Jericho's that's gonna fall apart. How original. I mean, it's pretty much writing on the walls at this point. Otherwise, the match was pretty good. Bandito did kind of did shine through with a lot of his moves, and I'm just like, I'm still looking at Jericho going, dude, when are you just gonna retire? Just give it up. You're turning into the slow-paced gimmick fool that you were back in WWE that pretty much put you in the low card roster at that point, and you're turning right back into that character. Just stop it. Just stop it. Pick a gimmick, stick with
Michael
it.
George, stop. Get some help.
Hey, wait a
Exactly.
minute. Also, too, while we were watching the match, I said, oh, no, the air fryer's not in a tag team with me. Jericho's will be wrestling this match. And actually, I forgot. I actually timed it to see how long it would take, remember? Because I was like, well, let's see. Maybe this will be a short match. I said, oh, my God, this is like a normal length match.
Yeah, like word has it, if you put out a plate of frozen chicken nuggets in front of a Chris Jericho match, within 5 minutes they'll be done. So I'm just saying. But yeah, he needs to like find like some sort of niche, some sort of actual gimmick, and just stick with it. Like it's getting old and it's the same routine. He comes up with another gimmick, another faction, they end up fighting each other. Jericho's out of the group, he starts another one. Like it just needs to stop. It's
Now the
time
weird
to
thing, one thing I want to ask you though, William, is that did these guys really benefit off of Jericho like the other ones? Because I mean, I know things kind of changed now because so many things happen, but at least back then with the inner circle, Sammy Guevara benefited from that. I know he's not around that much anymore. Well, I guess he's still a tag team partner with Dustin Rhodes, but
right.
but anyways, at least at the time he benefited from that, And then with the the Jericho Appreciation Society, you can say that Daniel Garcia that benefited from that and everything. But from this one though, if the learning tree falls apart, I mean, did Dick Bill and Brian Keith really benefit? And I don't know, like really get their stars.
Wait, benefited from having a good laugh every week at those two. Those were Brian Keith, really. He's like, you better respect Chris Jericho nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all they're getting is just a big laugh because let's face it, nobody was really pushing Big Bill before he was with them. He's not getting that much of a push while he's with them. Keith, well, exactly nothing. Like he's just there.
Oh, like that was kind of funny. The match versus the Her Syndicate, the announcing people were still talking about it. Oh, better be careful, man, because Big Bill's got that tag team champion experience. I'm like, it was a random slap together team of him and Ricky Starks. You know what I mean?
Unless they're trying to imply about him and Enzo.
It could be, but I don't know if those two were ever tag team champs.
Wait,
they
in NXT, I think they were.
NXT, yeah, but otherwise they got kind of soft. SAWST. Solved.
But one thing I do want to say though, if they do become a tag team, at least with Brian Keith's case, at least he can wrestle because that was the thing. Edno was good for the talking, the dancing, and all that shit. He was a crap wrestler when it actually came to actual wrestling. You know what I mean? Big Cass was at least the power guy. So if they do completely break off from Jericho and Jericho goes off to make his 10 million faction or whatever, at least with those two, at least Cass got the power and at least Brian Keith can wrestle. So
yeah.
I mean, not to mention you were talking about like the inner circle and the other group they had, but let's be real about it. Between Keith and Big Bill, nobody's small enough to get hit by a golf cart like every other pay-per-view. So, maybe that's the problem.
Okay, so about this match, I pretty much liked it. I liked the storyline more than anything. I liked the storyline behind Bandito versus Chris Jericho because he did the this honorable thing of taking off whose mask that he took off.
Yeah, the other time it was Bandito. He got the mask and Gravity came in to like cover him so nobody would see his face.
And then, you had the whole family drama and all that kind of crap. But the thing is that, okay, the match was good in certain aspects, but in other aspects, this is just a rant in general with AEW. I think AEW needs to fire all these useless referees because they get distracted so easily, like all the freaking time, and they
that's a wrestling trope, though, John.
No, he's right. It is a wrestling trope, but the way they do it, it's just.
But the way they do it in AEW, they overdo it. It's like it's done already. Like it's been done so many times. It's not even funny anymore. And the thing is, this match actually makes AEW, look bad because it's like they can't run business properly. They can't follow their own rules properly because Chris Jericho would have won this match by cheating, but because Bandito's family members, they were there to actually explain to the referee that that he cheated. That's the only reason. That's the only reason how. That's the only way Bandito was able to win this match.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So it's kind of embarrassing that they have to tell the referees how to do their job. And listen, dumbasses, you guys are.
Why don't you get back in the ring and watch the match and stop looking at what's going on outside of it? And
not only that, but they have cameras. Like, what are they doing with the cameras? Like, don't they look, the camera, like, to see the footage, like what happened in the match? Like, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I don't like when they do that is because it's like, okay, so this match, they told Aubrey that, hey, there was cheating involved with the bat. I hate when they do that because then it kind of ruins the logic about, okay, what about all the other 10,000 matches where people won because some extra person ran in or just sometimes they haven't done it in AEW, but I know WWE's done it throughout their history where sometimes they want you to see the camera, the replay, the replay shows it. And I'm like, okay, but then why don't you do that every other time? Every other 10,000 times they want to do cheating or whatever.
Yeah, these AEW reps, I have to agree with Johnny on this. That's one of my pet peeves with the series. It's like they are just so blind and they get distracted so doggone easily. I think it would work. I think it would work better if the distraction was more natural as opposed to, I don't know, someone start dancing outside the ring. It'd be like, stop that dancing! Stop that dancing! I don't want you dancing. There's a match over here. Stop that dancing! Why are you tapping? Oh, you have to make shoes. I mean, you don't need doing that nonsense. And then you got the shenanigans in the background. That's my problem with wrestlers. It's like
it makes the referees look very unprofessional because they're supposed to have eyes on every corner. They're supposed to be very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Reacts to all the things that are happening. So why is it that whenever there's an interruption, they take so damn long to react? Just like how Wendy's saying and they take whole 30 minutes to react. Come on, guys, get back to your
That's the
This-
problem. Yeah. That is
Yeah.
the problem. I mean, I don't have a problem with the referee getting distracted. It became across as natural. It's like, okay, like with my type of job, it's like, hey, I have to, I have to watch, what I do. And let's say I turn around for like 10 minutes and I hear stuff going on, but I'm not gonna look because I'm too busy focused on the one kid over there. The one student over there, as opposed to looking and seeing, wait a minute, I have to keep my eye on everything, not just this one, and focus on just this one.
Yeah. One of the worst examples, and you have to kind of excuse it because, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's pretty old. He's not a wrestler, like a legit wrestler, And wow, he was so old he could barely stand. He was in one of the matches, one of the pre-show matches, and I forgot the rest of the people, but I know that the match ended with Rodman bouncing someone with a chair, and of course they won. But the thing is, because again, he never let go of the chair. He was still holding it the whole time. And Aubrey, I know it was Aubrey there, she had to I guess because it's so awkward because he's very dear, you know what I mean? She had to just pretend
see
she
it.
didn't see nothing and do the pin and the win and all that junk. And like I said,
But in that case, it was a Dennis Rodman situation.
yeah, I mean he didn't
It's a
know. Cameo. He's also old. Like I said, he could barely stand. I'm like, wow, the age.
Wow, Mister, I used to hang out with Madonna, can't do much anymore, huh?
Yeah, I know, and all that stuff. And that's but again, it just breaks the immersion of the wrestling,
Like I said, refs.
And then in this match and everything said, yeah, I know the whole family thing, but they kind of overdo it. And it's like, I think the family members, Bandito's family members, they kind of get a little carried away as well because they actually get inside the fucking ring. Like they themselves are risking themselves. Like, why are you doing that? Like I'm just an average Joe Schmo. I'm not gonna step into the rest of the ring.
Yeah, I know, but your family and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's also weird because as far as I always knew, with luchadors, nobody's supposed to know your identity, including your family.
No, the family knows,
Shush.
but they're not
They ain't supposed to be there and show themselves.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
exactly.
means that, like, hey, I know those two. That means that her boy is so and so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the previous example we did last time. If Johnny went to the ring with a mask and he was called, El Delgado or something. Oh, El Diablo Delgado or something. So he goes to the ring, but then in the crowd, I'm there, Wendy's there, Jack and Panda were all there and everything. It's like, gee, I wonder who he is.
Go Diablo Delgado. And they was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and then we actually get in there. Let's say Jericho hit Johnny, and you see me and you and we were all there and whatever. You got like DJF trying to clear the crowd. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Johnny, right, from the podcast.
Yeah, so that means.
Well, I mean, let's be real. They've kind of screwed that up a long time ago in front of our faces, and nobody ever realized it. Anybody remember the child support match between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio for Dominic?
No.
So if anybody knew Dominic, they would look at Rey and instantly go, Oscar?
Now, in my memory, the only match I've ever seen where it was, like a versus mask kind of match kind of thing was in WCW because I remember Chavo Guerrero Jr. had a mask and he lost it in a mask versus whatever match, and he actually had a run afterwards. Now with his face exposed, all that kind of stuff. So that's like the only wrestler I remember, at least for me, that I've seen that lost the mask match, got his face exposed, but then kept going, like a new career, a new run with his face exposed. I'm not sure if it was actually Eddie Guerrero. I think he turned on him. I think it was Eddie versus Chavo for mask versus I guess a title or whatever Guerrero had.
Yeah, definitely better.
Yeah, but that was back in the day. That was back in WCW and everything. And So anyways, this match is gonna be interesting to kind of go into because we just didn't care.
Danny Garcia versus Adam Cole for the TNT Championship. And I want to say it right now, even before I saw this match, I just did not give a a crap about it. I didn't care. When I found out there was going to be no time limit, I was like, oh God, we got to suffer through this for how long? And here's the other thing. Fell asleep.
Yeah, when he missed the whole match, and unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, I can say Adam Cole won the match, and I can say that most of us went for Garcia. The only ones that went for Cole were Jack and GJF. Everyone else went for Garcia. But I just don't remember any particular spots because I was doing the notes that was really like noteworthy. I just know that Adam Cole won, okay, and all that. So. Any thoughts there, guys? Or William, do you have any spots or anything you can remember to add in there?
I have no thoughts.
Be brutally honest with you, I don't remember much of that match.
Wow.
I do not remember.
We were trying to rewatch these last couple of matches. We just ran out of time during the week.
Like I don't remember much of that match, to be honest with you, until you brought it up on the card just now. I don't even remember that match occurred. Like, wow. I don't know if I fell asleep or I just had a really long bathroom break. I don't remember that match, so I can't really put too much on it. Honestly, with as much as a push as they've been giving him as of late, I'm kind of surprised that Garcia lost. I will say that, but other than that, I don't remember this match, and it's sad for me to say that. I'm sorry, guys.
With him no longer being TNT champion, I just don't really know what's next to Daniel Garcia, though.
You know, my problem with Daniel Garcia, I think I may have mentioned it. I think he was starting to get stale to me, but mostly because it seemed like he's trying too hard. That's just my view of him at this point. You know, sort of like, yeah, I'm a tough guy. What you gonna do about it? You know, it's like
that is pretty much his personality, I guess.
I know, but it just gets to the point where he's trying too hard to do it, where it seemed to be like in small doses before, but now it's like, that's all I'm about, G.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like all he is, sort of, just
how he is now. It's like before it was like a little bit of, they were trying, but now it's just like, I'm just bored of him.
Well, I mean, with all that dancing around and stuff he was doing earlier, like he was borderline being a risk of being the second coming of Disco Inferno. So
there's that dances, but I understand why you wouldn't want to do it all the time.
Yeah, my thing was like he was doing the dancing, but then there were times where he just like fucking overdid it, you know?
Yeah,
and it's even noticeable because he had his matches with Yuta. And it was noticeable that when he had those pure style matches, the first one or two, he wasn't doing that shit. But then we had a third one, since that was during his gimmick, whatever, he was doing it all the damn fucking time.
That's right. And even I thought it was stupid. Because like come on now, I like to dance, but come on now, it's supposed to be a serious match. You know, take it seriously.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Johnny?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Now that I think of it, I don't really remember much about this match either. And maybe just because I'm not invested in Adam Cole that much. I don't know what's going on with him nowadays anyway, storyline wise. But yeah, I don't think this match. Huh?
Neither do we.
Oh yeah. But yeah, for this match, I still remember that Daniel Garcia was still, fighting pretty good enough, like to the point where there were times where I think he could have won the match, but for whatever reason he lost the match. Like it was really close, I think. But it just sucks that he lost though. And dude, like when Daniel Garcia lost, you could see in his face that he's lost for words. Like he could not. Yeah, that was a horrible defeat for him. It was pretty kind of disappointing in that aspect.
So then, I just remember mostly it was a fair match. There was no outside interference. I think it all showed up at the end.
Okay, wait. That was my other issue. With the stipulation for this match, that they couldn't have any outside interference, which to me didn't really make much sense because O'Reilly and Daddy Magic and Angry Flanders. Yeah, what's his face?
Roderick Strong.
Yeah, Roderick Strong. He would. I mean, they're not those type of characters that would do that. So I thought that stipulation was just a pointless one to add. I mean, being at ringside cheering them on, that's fine. I don't see why they couldn't be there for that, you know?
Yeah.
But I just thought it was kind of dumb that that was one of the stipulations given their character types. I see if it was the patriarchy or Mox's nonsense and
Yeah.
not Daniel Garcia. Damn, maybe they get a Rockland. No.
Yeah. All right. So I guess the storyline in this case would be that Adam Cole is the new TNT champion. So of course he'll have to defend the title. We'll see what goes on there.
Until he breaks his ankle again.
Okay. So anyways, the next match is another one that we'll probably need Williams help with was Kenny Omega versus Ricochet versus
Get out.
Speedball Mike Bailey for the International Championship. And with that one, almost everyone went for Kenny Omega. The only one that was outlier was DJF going for Ricochet. And yeah, I think I pretty much zoned out that one.
I was completely asleep for this.
I don't even remember. Did Kenny Omega win? He won.
Yeah, he
right?
did win.
Yeah.
He won by pin. He pinned Ricochet after doing something. I forgot. I told you what it was. But yeah, Omega retained with over Ricochet.
Yeah.
After yeah.
I'm just surprised that Kenny Omega didn't rename the V trigger to like the guard crash or the guard crush or something like that, because they were Street Fighter 5 is over, man. Now we're Street Fighter 6. Call it like the guard crush or something. No, I'm sorry, the drive crush. There we go. Because they have the drive system. But anyways, yeah, any notes or
he beat her he's the one-winged angel.
Oh, Winged Angel.
Yeah.
Any notes there, any memories or spots, Panda?
Yeah, so I do remember this one spot, and yeah, for Okada, yeah, it's out of character, but for these two, but for Bailey and Kenny, yeah, it's fine. Everybody just keeps slapping the living dog shit out of Ricochet on his bald head.
Yeah, they were ganging up on him.
Now, to me, it was a good match because of, you've got Kenny who's finally back. It's good to see him back because, he went to Japan for a little bit, kind of sharpened his skills before he returned. You got Ricochet. Ricochet did a decent job in there. And then you've got this new kid, Bailey, who, he's a really good wrestler, but he's better as a striker / martial artist type character. So you've got like 3 aerial characters, all colliding in this ring, which number 4 is my best part of it. It gave Jimmy Cornette a freaking heart attack. I'm more than certain of it, and I'm glad to see it. Like, to me, it wasn't a match of just like brawling or anything. This was more of a fun match. And, I actually liked it. It's actually well placed within the pay-per-view. I wish there was something more on the line so they would have wrestled a bit more aggressively. But overall, it was still a pretty good match. And it was good to see Kenny's actually finally running back in a decent stride. Now let's hope they don't revert the storyline and have him going back to fighting the Dump Fox. That's all I'm asking for.
How about that?
Your opinion on this triple threat match? Oh, that's what I was gonna say about what's his name? The Speedball dude.
Oh, Mike Bailey.
Yeah, Mike Bailey. Yeah, Speedball. So yeah, to me, he's like Ricky Steamboat mixed with like I don't know somebody. I don't know, just a gimmicky type thing with him. With the martial arts and I don't know. It seems like it could be a Ricky Steamboat wannabe.
Yeah, he's like a Ricky Steamboat mixed with 1-2-3 Kid. I have only one problem with him. Only one.
Shoes.
Put on some damn shoes. You are not Ryu from Street Fighter, and there is way too much stuff going on with Jon Moxley for you to catch foot AIDS. Put some damn shoes on. Other than that, good guy. At least some socks. At least some socks. That's all I'm saying.
You can wear like the shoe thing. I mean, I used to have a pair. I mean, yeah.
All right. So this match actually, I think out of all the matches in this pay-per-view, this was the match that I got the most entertained just by obviously because Kenny Omega's back and it's good to see him back in the ring. And Ricochet, he's kind of silly, he's kind of goofy, so it's kind of fun to see him getting beat up, in general. But I was definitely entertained by a speedball Mike Bailey because he's very he seems a little out of place in the wrestling world because he's very technical, he's very like martial arts-ish, and he is on a smaller side, like compared to all the other wrestlers, he is quite a small guy, I would say. But it's so very impressive though, seeing how he's able to recuperate, all the attacks, he gets from the wrestlers. He's able to, do all the martial arts kind of like judo-ish, like still kind of doing throws and doing the chops and doing the landings and blocking. Like it's very interesting. It's very interesting seeing that in wrestling, because I think even in a UFC, he would kind of make more sense there because it's so boxing, so kind of like that. But in a wrestling match, like he's kind of interesting, kind of stands out, and I kind of liked it. I liked the match, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of Mike Bailey in future matches as well.
This past Dynamite, some of those that kind of lost on the pay-per-view, they were put into this $400,000 challenge thing where they had teams of 4, and I'm pretty sure Mike Bailey was on one of the teams.
Yeah.
He was on the Briscoe team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Mark Briscoe.
It was like
Ospreay, Briscoe, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight.
Yeah.
And it was their team versus
I forgot the other guys by now.
Leo Rush in them? Or?
Oh yeah, Leo Rush and whatever his tag team partner is with the giant Corona things that they jack
Leo Rush and
the flight people.
Top Flight and yeah, and what's his face? And yeah, of course they lost, and they were asking them, each of them, "Hey, what would you do if I forgot who was interviewing?
Lexi.
It was Lexi.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do with your 100,000 if your team wins?" I'm like, why are they playing for $400,000? I mean, what? Don't they have good contracts already? I mean, I wouldn't turn it down. Just saying. So it was like Osprey said, "I'm going to Disney World, bro," and that just shows that Disney World costs that much that he gonna need $100,000 just to go.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that before the other pay-per-view or something. He want to go to Disney World. He ain't go yet. And then we got what was it? Kevin Knight. He was saying he want to get a new pair of shoes, and I forgot what Mike Bailey said.
I think he wanted some shoes.
He didn't mention shoes. Well, I don't remember.
Yeah, because he's a guy who's got no shoes. So yeah, I'm about to get some shoes or something like that.
Well, whatever. They all talk about what they wanted, and then Mark Briscoe. Well, you know what I want, guys? I want to diversify my portfolio and my investments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it just came out of nowhere. It was great, I mean, I love Mark Briscoe's promos and things like that. But yeah, so they put all of them together, so they were on Dynamite, and their team won the $400,000, and they split it, and they will split it 4 way. And like I said, I think that was just a weird stipulation set up there. I mean,
yeah, so anyway.
If everything's so great, why you gotta pay him an extra $100,000?
Make it even more
because
great.
they don't have a belt to give to him.
All right, so now we got the main event here. We got Moxley versus Swerve for the AEW World Championship. And I don't remember too much about it. I don't think there was any blood in this one, or if so, not like the super pouring down your face stuff like that. So that was something.
Yeah, so no foot aids.
Yeah. I'm sure the conglomeration. I'm sure the rest of the Death Riders.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but then Moxie so bit Swerve's head. Like, I think there was some blood.
Yeah.
You?
Some blood.
But not like the excessive.
Some gross.
Yeah, I'm sure the Death Riders got involved somehow, whatever. I just don't remember too many details. The only thing I remember is the ending
And
because
Macklemore.
unfortunately, I know I think you saw that part though. Because unfortunately, they did a thing where Swerve's getting ready to do the stomp, and
Oh, because I complained about it. That's one of Swerve's moves that I do.
Moxley is like super obviously just sitting there, just waiting for it, because it takes so long to get set up. Because that's the thing about a move. The move is supposed to be he knocks your ass down, and just as you get up, he stops you. But since it takes so long, you're just sitting up like an idiot, just move out of the way or something. I don't know. But anyways, he did stop Moxley. It looks like he was gonna win. Then all of a sudden, lights out. And the lights come
Yeah, that's
back
what I
on,
remember.
the dumb fucks come back, and he grabs Swerve with his the DDT trigger, whatever they call it, the double knee to the face, and then of course by the time the referee sees and all that stuff, Moxley pins him, Moxley wins, the dumb fucks
I was
leave.
still kind of out of it though when I was seeing it because I didn't even notice that part. I was like, oh, what? And then I saw Moxley holding his briefcase. So I totally kind of edited the books out or something because I didn't even notice them right off. That's it. I
Yeah.
was like, I was out of it. I saw the swerve stomp. Then I did get knocked, was knocked out again. Then when I woke up again, I saw I wasn't even holding the briefcase. And
Yeah.
then I saw the Bucks walking up the ramp. I was like, wait, what? What happened?
Yeah. So, anyways, on Dynamite, they appeared and they wanted to, like, I guess, team up or work with Moxley. Moxley, they don't care. They just left, walk out the ring, but they're saying, "Yo, we help you all out. We hope that we can make some kind of arrangement or whatever." But they're like
This is
not
stupid
having it.
because they ran them out the company to make it random.
Yeah, but they were saying that they were watching during the week. They like, I guess, how he took over in their absence or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, the thing is, they're mentioning how they don't forget their friends, and they mentioned how they helped Hangman because Hangman doesn't want Swerve to be champion again. So thanks to them, hey, we prevented that from happening. But Hangman's not there, so we don't know what he thinks of it though. And then Omega shows up. Oh, you remember your friends, huh? Well, the last time I remember you guys, y'all like knocked me out and almost got me hospitalized and whatever the hell else. So we got to see what that plot is going on. But so far, Moxley and them have not responded to them if they want to work together or not. They just, they just walked off. They don't seem to care.
Oh,
So that's
I hate
that,
them so much.
dangling plot thread and everything.
Oh gosh, I hate them. It'll say, Keenan said, yes, remember, we, the ones who helped create AEW, and of course, what was I doing?
Cody.
I was going, Cody, Cody, Cody.
Yeah. So there was a bit of a ganging up there, and Okada came back. So it shows
gosh.
that Okada's still on their side.
He looks so just off and awkward. Like he really shouldn't be there at this point.
But like I said, the thing I'm curious the most, I'm curious what Hangman said. They just named him, but he's not there.
But they showed him Dynamite. He was backstage. He said, when we talked to Nana, and he was saying like, I didn't try to help Swerve. It was some weird.
Yeah, I know, but I want to see in relation to the Bucks though. I want to see what Hangman thinks about the Bucks. They just called him out randomly, so I'm wondering what he's thinking of that. So I'm curious if where he stands on that. We know Omega's not with them. So far, the Death Riders are indifferent to them, but I'm curious like where Hangman's gonna stand on that. But anyways, thoughts on the match, guys, or any notes? Because
And I was knocked out, so I woke up for the swerve stomp.
Okay.
Then I fell back to sleep right after it.
So I don't really remember too much about this. Only thing I remember was like I remember sitting down looking at the computer, and then just in big and large in the screen was Hepatitis Moxley biting Swerve on the forehead. And I'm just like, what the when did we get here? Like what happened? I mean, but honestly, a lot less blood than any of Moxley's other matches, which is a good thing. No spiked baseball bats to the ass or anything like that. So we're good there. The whole thing with the dumb fucks, I'm starting to believe that it's going to be a team up to where, yeah, sure, you got the dumb fucks and Okada. But at some point, I think what's going to happen is Swerve and Swerve and Paige are actually going to like bury the hatchet and probably join Omega. So it's going to be a 3-on-3 faction with those guys. Now, that would actually be a good setup. But as far as this match goes, other than the fact that Moxley, tried to use Swerve's head like a hamburger, I don't remember too much of that match. Like, again, like I said, you remember how I was saying the Osprey and Knight match should have been later down the card? This is where it should have been.
Like you said, they are dropping little hints. I forgot what episode of Dynamite it was, but there was a part where I think Swerve was going down or doing an interview where Hammond just showed up and got in his face, blah 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 blah, whatever, and he was still saying like the whole like you broke into my house, man, you broke into my family, whatever, and Swerve was like, I know. He's like, well, what? I said I know and all that. So it's kind of like it made
And
him
also
fall.
the other thing,
And it just kinda,
and the other thing, but like the Swerve's like, you burned down my house, and then what's the name? Then the bottom line is Swerve saying he deserves what happened to him.
yeah, and that just left Hangman kind of confused, kind of thinking for a moment, and then we got this moment here with Nana talking with Hangman. So it's like you're like I think they're slowly going there so they could bury the hatchet and
work together.
Yeah.
And take out the Bucks maybe.
Yeah, but I mean it's cool. It's like a slow build up. It's not like the typical Tony Khan booking where they're just buddies the next episode out of nowhere.
And if they do like a triple setup there, like those two with Kenny, then that means that Kenny can sit most of the match out and let the other two do all the wrestling. And same with the Bucks, they can let the Bucks do most of the work, even though I don't give a crap about them, and let Okada sit out because we all know Okada can't do nothing anymore. He just there for the check, and we all know it. Beach. Where's my money, Beach? Let me tell Tony when he walked in the office.
And you know what? I just had like a really stupid thought in my head. What if they let Prince Nana be a wrestler and have him team with Garcia? And they could just call him the Dance Dance Revolutions. I don't know, just a thought there.
Team DDR. He's starting a whole new faction.
But yeah, let's face it, at some point, each of those characters have something to do with the Young Bucks, and they hate the Young Bucks, or they had something to do with Okada, and they definitely hate Okada, especially Kenny. Like, Kenny doesn't, hate Okada, but if you've seen anything about New Japan, you know these guys have a history. So if they are aligned together, then yeah, there's going to have to be some other type of faction that's going to be made to even up the score and make it 3-on-3. Now, Paige has been out of the Elite for a while now. And then Kenny's on the outs with the Elite too, so that's 2. And then you've got Swerve, who they just is like, okay, we need to bury the hatchet on this. Put them all together, have a 3-on-3, just have it out. I think it would work. But hey, who am I? I'm just a, small AEW fan that just likes wrestling. Who am I to judge?
Yeah. You're probably right in this nonsense. Just Drexel.
But everything is great.
Yeah, what we gonna do with those stupid Death Riders? Did someone just kill them off already?
Oh God.
Well, they want death, so let it be death. Like, die, let it leave. That kind of death, not like real death. Just go away. I'm sick of all of them.
Okay, your thoughts, Johnny?
So I don't really remember too much about the match other than the fact that Moxley, being Moxley, he bit Swerve Strickland's head. It's gross because biting the head and blood and whatever. Oh, but I think there were later parts of the match where Swerve Strickland also bit Jon Moxley. Kind of like
Moxley's been
like a revenge, like, hey, you did it to me, now you're gonna get it,
Yeah, you might want to get checked after that.
Huh?
You might want to get checked after that.
Yeah, that part. But another thing is like, I just don't really care too much about Jon Moxley. I'm tired of seeing Marina Shafir in the match because she's always cheating. Like, just get her out of there. Like, I'm tired of seeing her in the match all the time. with Jon Moxley. I'm just so tired of her. But I don't know. I just hated the match in the sense that the whole Young Bucks bullshit happening. Like that really ruined the match, in my opinion. Like it ruined it 1000%. Like I think even the people, the audience were booing the hell out of the Young Bucks when that shit happened. I would have preferred Swerve Strickland. I mean, of course, I want him to win, but I'm saying if he were to lose this match, I would prefer him losing it because, hey, I guess Jon Moxley beat him up too much and ate more blood out of his head. So, that's why he got knocked down or whatever. But I would have preferred that over that. Oh, he lost because of the fucking Young Bucks. Young Bucks.
They actually are building up to something. I'm being so tired of seeing Swerve lose his matches.
Yeah.
It's just so annoying at this point.
It is annoying.
Yeah,
It's like I don't think they don't know what's him anymore.
It's bad when it's getting to the point that people would rather see actual violence than to see the Young Bucks on stage.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's sure.
something right there. Like, I'm sorry, I would rather have, we're basically saying, hey, I would rather see Swerve get like face planted into the steel steps than have the Young Bucks come out and just mess with him. That lets you know it's been running on for way too long. They need to go.
And you know what? The thing is that I'm not going to say that these pay-per-views were 1000% perfect. Of course not. But they were way better without the Young Bucks lately. And then now they're back at like, oh, fuck, gotta do this shit again. Gotta deal with their shenanigans.
Now, for this one, I do want to say Arrow went for Swerve. The only one that went for Moxley was Jack Knives, but I'm sure it's pretty much because he was assuming he would win, not because he wanted him to win.
Yeah. You're just saying, hey, fine, let's get the belt off him. All right, so now we have our scores here. If you don't have any other comments about the nonsense that is whatever. Anyway, so our winner for this is the one who's not here, Jack. He got 9 points. Next, tied with 7 each are Mark and Johnny. So you guys have to rock, paper, scissors it out, I guess. And after that, coming last is me and DJF tied with 5.
That's surprising. DJF is usually very good at predicting all the stuff.
Yeah, but he was a contrarian for most of these matches, as was I. So. And unfortunately, like I said, William didn't get everything in, so we didn't count him this time. So he's the lucky one.
I am out by disqualification.
So as a whole for this pay-per-view, I felt it was a waste of card space for most of the stuff. But like I said, they probably could have done better with this card. If they didn't have so many, injured wrestlers, missing wrestlers. The Young Bucks and Moxley. I don't know. They just feel like this. Most of these matches should have been either on Dynamite or Collision. Because of what they were, everything did with the Owen Hart tournament, they should just did a special episode of Dynamite or a special episode of Collision for Owen Hart stuff. And then, for an actual pay-per-view, have the finals at the pay-per-view. Not the whole doggone tournament. For
example, Mercedes versus Athena, that's a pay-per-view worthy thing.
Yeah, because it's something different. And also, too, the fact that they have these matches on there, but they still have other matches they have to do for the Owen Hart tournament. It's not even, concluded here. So it's pointless.
Yeah. Oh, quick question though, William. The thought just came to me. We were watching, discussing the stuff. What happened to Jack Perry? Did he get injured or something, or?
That's a good question. Like, I haven't heard anything about Jack Perry in a good while. Like, I really haven't heard squat about him. Like, I'm guessing he's on the AEW Milk Carton roster, but I mean, I haven't heard anything about him from AEW or New Japan or anything of that nature. It's like he just kind of disappeared. I don't know whether he's injured or not. As far as the pay-per-view goes, I kind of agree with Wendy, but there's a way that this could have been resolved. Yes, the Owen Hart tournament, because they do so little stuff few far in between, and this could have been on Dynamite. Now, some of the matches that they even had on the card for the Owen Hart tournament, like Tony Storm and Maynard, the Kyle Fletcher match, the Osprey match, all those were good matches. Those were pay-per-view worthy. But some of the other ones, yeah, they could have put them on a regular show. Now, if they wanted to make Owen Hart's name bigger, if they wanted to make this a more important tournament, make it like an IWGP tournament. Make it like the Grand Prix. So, like, you have the entire tournament and you have like a realm of, let's say, 3 or 4 days. So they have to do the entire tournament back bracket within those 3 or 4 days. Sure, it would make it a slightly bigger pay-per-view, but it would make it more important, and it would make the Owen Hart Cup look like a legitimate hardcore, this is pay-per-view worthy style title. Instead of just, oh, we're just gonna throw a couple of spatter of matches on this pay-per-view, and if you miss them, oh well, we'll do a recap on Dynamite. I mean, not
some of the matches, sorry, I was gonna say that some of the matches that they have, the remaining Owen Hart matches, some of them, a couple, some few are on Dynamite, and the rest, some of them are on Collision for tonight. So it's just,
yeah. If you were to make it like like the IWGP, like their big tournament, and just had like the whole just 2 or 3 days of just this big bracket tournament, it would make the Owen Hart name seem a lot bigger and make this title seem way more important. People don't care about the Owen Hart tournament because they don't make it important enough. I mean,
fortunately,
it was kind of sad if you think about it, and people barely even remember this belt, but it seems like the FTW belt is more important than the Owen Hart trophy.
Well,
the FTW belt.
Yeah,
Chaz, right?
Yeah, they stopped using it anymore. Right? I don't remember.
Yeah, Hook wanted they gave it to Tad to his dad or something. He retired at that thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I just remembered. I forgot it existed. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but you remembered that. But who was the last person that won the Owen Hart tournament?
I remember, I don't know if it was the last one, but I remember one of them, they did a thing where Adam Cole and Britt Baker won the Owen Hart tournament. But the last one after that, I don't remember.
I know Willow won.
Oh, Willow won.
But you see my point? Like, they don't make it important enough that people actually remember it, especially with as big of a name as Owen Hart actually was. If anybody should have been doing this, should have been WWE, but we know how they screwed the Hart family over, so we're not even going to go there. But yeah, if you're going to make a tournament with that big of a name and that big of a legacy of it, make it an actual tournament. Make it like a 2 or 3 day pay-per-view event where they're going down the brackets. Don't just spatter pieces of it here and there, and then people just have to put it together like a puzzle, just to watch your shows. Make it a big ass tournament, and then that'll be a bigger turnout, and it'll be some much better matches because every match on the card has something riding on it. I mean, there were only how many titles for belts were there on this pay-per-view? Like, I think 1 or 2?
Tony Storm's belt, Andy Garcia, good Lord, no. Daniel Garcia's belt, Kenny's belt. I guess what's that 4? Oh, one Swerve.
On the tag team one, I guess. That was like 5 title matches, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the Hurt Kids playing their titles obviously better than
Jericho.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I guess that counts.
6 matches.
Okay. So yeah, that's a fair amount. But I mean, if you wanted to make it like a big tournament bracket, just do it all in one fell swoop. So just do a 1 or 2, just do a 1 or 2 day pay-per-view event, and that would make it a bit more important. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds doable. I mean, it could be doable.
I mean, I usually enjoy the pay-per-views. It's just that a lot of them are very predictable. And I don't know. I don't know if it was a thing that maybe Dynasty was like last March, and that's why they had to do it again in March this year or something. Because I know this is not the first Dynasty. This is probably the second one they had. I think
Mhm.
second or third Dynasty. So I don't know if it's like a March pay-per-view, but I feel that again, they really should have not had a pay-per-view this month, or not have these matches and just save it for the next pay-per-view. Do the final matches then, so it feels more like, oh my God, I don't want to miss this one man. I want to see who's going to win the tournament, that kind of junk. Because
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. I guess it was like 12 matches, I guess. So I guess it was half and half. 6
Too many
title matches and then 6 tournament matches. So,
well, like I say, my other issue with pay-per-views, they shouldn't be on Sundays. They should be on
yeah,
Saturdays.
I don't know. People got to work in the morning, Monday, for the most part. I mean, I know not our job is the same, but for the majority of people, they work Mondays. And also, it's like, back when AEW was new, I love that their pay-per-views were on Saturdays, because you don't have to worry about waking up early Sunday. And I'm all like, yeah, it's awesome, man, because WWE has their shit on Sundays or whatever, but AEW smart, they got it on Saturday, and now they're going to Saturday too. So, Sunday, I mean, but you know what I mean. It's just,
Well,
And they also, like I said, they need to hardcore change up the writing, because these are starting to turn into we're starting to get way too many Geese Howard tournaments. Predictable.
Yep. Your thoughts, Johnny?
Personally, I felt like this pay-per-view was very average. I mean, the only matches I really enjoyed the most was probably, I like the Anthony Bowens one, because that was a little bit of a surprise. Let's see, the Will Ospreay match was pretty entertaining. It was just, I like seeing Kevin Knight. Like, I would like to see him wrestle more, so that's kind of interesting. I could care less about the Mercedes Moné match, but yeah, not that many matches that I really liked that much, but I definitely did like the Bandito match, the Adam Cole one, because it was a little bit, I guess, unpredictable, that a little bit of a shocker that Daniel Garcia lost that bad in that match. And I did like the Kenny Omega match. But other than that, like the pay-per-view itself, like in its entirety, it just felt very below average. Like nothing special, nothing to shout about. It could have been regular matches on Collision or whatever.
But anyways, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off for America's #1 tour firm Zamia, the Diamond Cutter Wrestling Podcast. If you can't sleep, if you're getting the shakes, if you got, you're just getting like sleep deprivation or whatever, listen to us for a couple of minutes, it'll knock you right out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look at me. I mean, I'm getting knocked out already.
Okay.
This is Jupi Chan, also known as Wendy or Ninja Jupi. I'm turning it over to the Panda.
William White, aka Ninja Panda 1980, signing off. Get ready to go to bed and make sure I don't get bit on the head. See you guys later.
Oh my God.
And now we turn it over to the one and only, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man with the cool hat and the X-Men shirt,
Johnny Rodriguez.
Yep. Catch you later, guys.
See you later, guys. See you next time.